Well, hello there. Wowie. Wowie zowie. We are here. It's a little bit warm in my apartment today, but that means that I have a good reason to wear fishnet. Hello. Hello. I gotta get my hands back in here. I was eating pizza, so I took the glove parts off. Anyway, fresh shave. Yeah, so clean. I shaved my head today, and it feels so good. We love it. Oh my gosh. It's such a good time. But yes, hello, my dear sweet horties. We have folks in the YouTube chat. Speedy Shimeji said, haha, first like, cute face. Zombinis, hello, Zuki Tanuki. Jimmy Nails, we got Ali and Paul Hack and Spacer's Choice. Hello. What's up, Steph with an F? When we got Spirit, there's Violet, hello. Mama Mephistopheles. Andy's Mints, Garfish, Junebug. Halfling Rogue was from last time. So anyway, yeah, what's up? I am here. I am settled in. Love the shirts. Yeah, I am, I got this cute little thing at Target. I went to the Target not too long ago. The fishnet and ponytail is giving a mood. Right. It's like, yeah, it's a really interesting kind of mood today. I think I'm gonna, fix my hair a little bit, but yes. Hello, Sleepy Seroquel. What a name. What did I miss Tuesday? I was out confirming my bisexuality. Ooh, girl. Yeah, what did we do on Tuesday? I mean, a bunch of politics shit, I'm sure. I think we did have actually serious stuff to talk about on Tuesday. I do have serious stuff to talk about today. I want to grill. That's all I want to do is grill. However, my computer is not good enough for gaming on stream, and there actually is a bunch of stuff to talk about today. Can we just call Kid Rock a rock? Well, he's old rock now. What's up, drums? White people, yeah, we do be loving to say Target. It's a fact of white culture. You gotta embrace your culture sometimes, y'all. It's not like white people have very much good going on for us. We destroyed all the cool things about our individual cultures in order to homogenize into something boring. Anyway, hit like on the stream. Oh my god, it's early in the stream, and you should hit like and see if we can get some people in here to hang out with us. Whoa, my hair is falling out. What is up, Jimmy? Welcome to the website. We prefer the website. It's just cooler over here. We got the cool color names. We got the custom emojis. YouTube doesn't let you do custom emojis. So enjoy that. Please, have fun. I want to start a cooking show called Biological Grill. That would be really funny. Oh, good grief. Okay. So here's a fun thing that I found out this week. I was really late getting my taxes figured out because I couldn't figure out how exactly to do them, and I was procrastinating. And I found out that my tax rate is super crazy high. When is tax day? I think it's April 17. I think that's when you're supposed to have this stuff like submitted. It's April 17. So I am gonna owe like $2,000 worth of taxes. Like realistically, as far as what I am going to owe between like, because my partner and I, with our combined income or whatever, yeah, I'm gonna owe over $1,000 for my part on the taxes. And I realized why, and it's like, okay, I guess the why of this kind of makes sense. And the why of why our self-employment tax is so high. Like, I did not make very much money last year, by the way. Like the amount of taxes that I owe relative to my income is like 227%, I think is what one of the calculators we're looking at. It was crazy. Like the functional tax rate or whatever they call it. Like I made, as far as my self-employment money, I made like less than 15 grand. And I owe $2,000, which is crazy. But the reason is that you normally, if you work a regular job, your employer is legally obligated to pay like half of your Social Security and Medicare tax. So it just turns out that taxes in general are much higher than you think they are. and that your employer is obligated to pay some of them for you. So that's why it feels like a penalization when you start working for yourself and you literally owe double the taxes because of that. So that's great. I'm not enjoying that, but maybe it'll give me an opportunity to build credit. Like, that'll be good. So I'm not going to complain too much, but becoming an adult is just a drag. So many things. It's so funny too, because I remember being younger and I remember that there were adults who kind of just didn't really say a lot of anything about like the status quo or whatever. And I do remember specifically there being adults who would be like against the government really hardcore, like George Carlin and stuff. Like I knew about the existence of those people when I was younger, but I also kind of could tell that they were not mainstream. Like I could tell that those were not popular ideas. And now I have become that adult. Like I'm one of the crazy ones. I realize sometimes that I sound like a right winger if I were to say half the things that I think about, like, you can't trust the government. Like the CDC is lying to you. They care more about the economy than your life. They want you to go back to work and like not, trans George Carlin. True. So yeah, I just, there's so many things that I think of like that where I'm like, it's terrible. It's terrible. Hayes, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. No worries about the lurking. We appreciate lurkers. Kid Rock was never cool. Yeah, I don't ever think that... You went so far left, you looped around the other side. I saw someone made a joke recently that was like, the joke was like, they're so far left, they're anti-vaccine again, or something like that. And then they clarified, like, yeah, you know, when you're so far left that you become against vaccines, you know? It made me laugh. I feel that, Lux. It's like being a conspiracy realist. Yeah, I mean, essentially. That is, yeah, it makes you feel like a conspiracist. Like, it makes you feel crazy. That's standard leftist beliefs. A right-winger would say it's all about enforcing the woke agenda and never lay an ounce of blame on capitalism. I mean, true, the blame is laid at a different place. Is it just like the mainstream conservative politics is like a weird, bizarro projection, gaslighty version of left-wing politics? Like, I don't know, man. I feel so tinfoil when talking to normies. Like, I don't want to feel like a crazy person. There's like 50 people in here and 34 likes. Let's pump those numbers up, babes. It's free. Please. I appreciate it. If you like green, click the like button. I don't often wear stuff like this on the stream. I don't really often wear stuff like this in general anymore, but I mean, man, now that it's going to be summertime and I'm going to be saving money by keeping it warm in here instead of having to spend a fuck ton of money on gas keeping it warm in here, I am going to be able to wear stuff like this more often. This is also like a crop top situation, you know? Did you see Mr. Beast is speaking out against transphobes? I did. I basically saw him say like, yo, this transphobia is starting to annoy me, or something along those lines. Did he make a primary tweet about it? Yeah, I saw your tweet about it. Right. So yeah, Mr. Beast said, this is getting absurd. Chris isn't my nightmare. He's my fucking friend and things are fine. All this transphobia is starting to piss me off. And then Gayfesh tweeted, new Mr. Beast vid just dropped. It was good. It was a good tweet. Did I hit like on this tweet? Oh, I saw it in the DMs and I didn't come out and hit like on it. Rip. Well, you didn't need my help. You already had 3,000 anyway. Hey, Luxander, a bit late, so I'm a bit behind. No worries, Sisukara. Welcome in. Can you give 100 people top surgery? So I did reply to someone about this who said, Let's see, what did Sinclair say? So this person, that someone shared a screenshot, says, Mr. Beast, when is your I paid for 1,000 trans women's facial feminization surgery video dropping? And my response to that is like, there is no way you might as well title that video Mr. Beast recruits 1,000 Antifa super soldiers. Like, you would have the most loyal, like, and not just 1,000 Antifa super soldiers directly that you gave surgery to. Like, trans people would be like 100% cool with you forever. If you were to fund like a few thousand surgeries, there's no way you can't afford that. You know what I mean? It would be, and like, because of the relatively few number of trans people, like, that's a big impact per capita. For sure. What about Daisy Duke jorts? Jorts? Daisy Dukes and jorts are two different things. Like, Daisy Dukes are ass jean shorts, but jorts are like longer. I wish someone could do that for me. I mean, honestly, like, can I have $40,000, please, Mr. Beast? I will never talk shit about anything you do ever again. You'll have like positive PR for the rest of eternity. Yeah, I would certainly not complain. Oh yes, I forgot. Aren't Daisy Dukes short shorts but jeans? Yeah, so yes, they're booty shorts. Like, it's very short booty shorts made out of jean-ish material. And jorts are not really, I don't know. When you say normal length shorts, for me a normal length short is cargo shorts that go to the knees. But yeah, jorts are like mid-thigh. That's what makes a jort a jort. Welcome to the website, AOS Music. Much love to the trans people in Missouri right now. We're stronger than their hate, but so much for the party that wants to, quote, protect kids. Right. I think that it was in Missouri where, and we'll talk about this in more detail later, one of the guys who was supporting this anti-trans kids bill, which is separate from the emergency rule that was passed today, he was also in support of the 12-year-old age of consent with a parent's permission for marriage thing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull that link up for my the stream segment later. But yeah, for those of you who are coming in and you're like, why aren't you talking about the topic? We always chill for the first like hour of stream. It's just a habit of mine. We want to like enter the space and create like a positive vibe, and then we'll eventually talk about, I have actually multiple topics tonight prepared, so we will have a couple of different things to look at and talk about. I have a sore. I ate a burger recently. I actually ate an Arby's. I got like a half-pound Arby's sandwich, and you know those are thick boys? Like, you know, the whole thing is like this big, and that apparently is enough of a salty giant bite that I hurt the corner of my mouth. So that was cool. Just working on that. Mike Moon looks like the My Pillow guy. Was it Mike Moon? Did you see the new mutant arc for us queer people? Yes, that was our main topic on Tuesday. That is what we talked about on Tuesday. They are extremely booty shorts. I fucking love wearing my Daisy Dukes. I learned to tuck so I can rock them. You know, something that's interesting, Mama Mephistopheles, is that I am not going to be able to tuck if I get bottom surgery. And that means that I have to enjoy wearing Daisy Dukes now as often as possible, because someday I will not be able to wear them anymore. Like, it's just an interesting thing that I think about sometimes. It's like, oh yeah, you know, for trans women, it's like you're getting rid of something kind of annoying, right? And I guess for trans guys too, if you have a relatively big chest, you're kind of getting rid of something that is like actually changing what clothes you can wear and stuff like that. But yeah, like, if you're having an addictomy done, then you kind of are limited in what clothes you can wear. You gotta change what underwear you wear. You gotta change what pants you wear. You gotta be careful wearing sweatpants. No sweatpants at the gym. We're hitting a bingo point right now because we're talking about dicks, so we're talking about phalloplasty. Dicks. I missed Tuesday's stream because I was out picketing, but I actually have time, so I'll probably rewatch later today. Yeah, I think that the old stream is unlisted. I need to figure out what to do with the old streams. Or do it anyway. Yeah. But it would be weird. I mean, you understand how it's weird if I went to the gym. Like, I usually wear a sports bra at the gym. I'm not fucking binding when I'm trying to lift weights. And so if I'm, like, hanging dong and the boobies are obvious, like, it presents some difficulties. And that's, like, another thing that I'm gonna have to consider, because I don't really bind, and I'm not gonna really bind. So even if I get bottom surgery, it's gonna be like, you know, now suddenly I will be fully subject to trans misogyny, and that's always kind of scary. Good thing it's still like 5 years off. Maybe the world will be safer in 5 years. Or maybe society will have collapsed in 5 years. That's an exciting prospect. Free the gawk. True. I mean, that's the world that we want to live in. Oh, gosh. Oh, fair enough. Yes, the videos always go unused on YouTube. Yeah, unlisted on YouTube. You can also, I think, get them through the Discord if you wanted to. I keep feeling like I have a burp coming, but I don't. I'm checking to see if I have anything that I wanted to talk about in our first hour. Oh, this is only a little teeny tiny thing. We've done like a proper segment on Anna Kasparian. We actually did 2 segments that I kind of just put into one video. But this is just a cute little update moment. This is a screenshot. Former NCAA swimmer claims she was assaulted by trans rights activists. If you didn't know that, trans rights activists is it's a phrase that it's a phrase that gender criticals use, that TERFs use. Yeah, and there it says it on the screen too. It wasn't just the title of the video, it was also in the show. Trans rights activists assaulted her. That's Anna's Why I Left the Left, for sure. Can we talk about why no one uses turn signals? I don't get it. I have seen some crazy shit driving lately, and I don't even drive that much. I'm like, statistically, the amount of time that I spend driving is very, very low. So how am I seeing this many traffic fuck-ups? It's because of COVID. But I was stopped at a light last week, and I was in the left turn lane. And when the left turn lane light turned green and we started to turn, the opposite, it was both of us going left like this. And there was a person not in the lane right next to me, but in the lane over, who just like started to gun it into the intersection. Like they didn't, you know, like they saw out of the corner of their eye the movement of the left-hand turn lane people, and they just started like going. It was fucking crazy. Also, not related to driving, but definitely related to people being really inconsiderate and kind of disgusting. Twice this week. 2 separate times. 2 separate people. 2 separate days. I have witnessed a cis man at the gym sneeze directly into his hands. One of them wiped his hands on his shirt a little bit. But both of them sneezed into their hands and then immediately started touching workout equipment again that was shared by everybody. And I was like, Like, what the fuck? Like, even in the world that we used to live in, that would be wildly unacceptable. And yet, thankfully, they have like there's a dispenser of like wet wipes. Like, so I do use wet wipes throughout the process of being there. And like when I use the wet wipes to touch things. Holy fucking shit though. Yeah, wipe down stations with towels and sprays that you use to clean everything. Yep. It could be better. I think if we had something more comprehensive than just the wipes, that would be best, because you know the dumbbells have that texture, and so it's kind of hard to get in there unless you were actually using like a spray and like an actual towel, as opposed to one of those kind of flimsy-ish cleaning cloths. I'm a big fan of spraying my windshield wiper fluid when someone is tailgating. They almost always back off when they suddenly have stuff spraying onto their windshield. But yeah, it was crazy. They're lifting the mask mandates tomorrow. Were there remaining mask mandates? What were the mask mandates? I don't actually know what the status is on COVID bullshit right now, as far as like what are the recommendations, because I've just been under the assumption that they left us behind a while ago. Like, I know that it's not required to wear them in medical aspects anymore, and people are talking about, you know, getting into details about it. People got even worse about hygiene after COVID. Americans are so inherently contrarian that they will be actively worse people because someone asked them to be even slightly better. We live in a toddler country. I mean, consider also that it is evolutionarily advantageous to the virus to lower your inhibitions. And I think that might be part of what we're seeing, is just people are engaging in risk that they, I mean, it feels like a dematuration in a way. It's like, why are people acting like fucking teenagers all the time? And I mean, it's because there's like a regression involved with the, I mean, if you lower the inhibitions, you increase erratic and reckless behavior, which makes you seem adolescent. What's up, Bambi's Rambles? Hey, Lux, I love your hair. Sorry, I never chat. Just wanted to say that. Also, hi. Hey, you know what? We appreciate the lurkers. Lurkers can hit like on the video, too. So even if you're not commenting and boosting the stream stats that way, you can still help out. And make sure if you're subscribed that you go ahead and hit the bell and double check whether you have YouTube notifications turned on in general. My vid keeps lagging, so I'm getting further and further behind, even doing 1.5 play speed. Boo, my Wi-Fi. I hope that that's not on my end. You know, I felt like I cut stream kind of short on Tuesday, but my internet cut out like 20 minutes after I ended stream. It was weird. Yeah, Emma says lurk and subscribe. Lurk and subscribe. For hospitals in my area. Yeah, I've heard that a lot of hospitals have stopped requiring masks, and I don't know if they require testing to be regularly done amongst their staff. It seems like that would be a prudent measure. Probably not. It's because not like they increased the amount of time that nurses get off work. Yo, what do you mean cut? Here, I'll put a V. Does that make it better? There, I updated the stream title. Does that make it better? I'm getting occasional lag spikes, but I can skip back to present right after, so it seems like an issue with YouTube and not you. Fingers crossed. Let's hope. Pretty sure that they do not ask for testing, just ask you to report symptoms and exposure that you know about. Yeah, so it's not like they've increased the amount of sick time that those nurses get. Therefore, their jobs and their income are still going to be dependent on showing up to work all the time, and like people don't think that COVID is that big of a deal anymore. So, and I don't even think that people are necessarily testing. Like folks, I don't know that that people even think they could have COVID. You know, like folks are so like they have symptoms and they're like, oh, I just have something, it's going around. And I'm like, did you even test for COVID? I don't actually know if anybody is doing it, because here's the thing. Those boxes, like you know, the USPS sent out some free ones. And if you find that same brand at the store, they cost $24 for a box of 2 tests. So it costs you $12 every time you want to take a test. It's not me, it's YouTube. They're not testing. I imagine that they wouldn't be. People suffer from flu every year. COVID isn't that different in terms of them both being respiratory viruses. COVID is not primarily a respiratory virus. It spreads during a respiratory phase. So first of all, people die from the flu every year. These are mostly preventable deaths. If we had better policies in place, if we had more free availability of vaccines, you know, the flu is already the flu is an annual failure in the United States. The fact that there are any deaths from flu. And then COVID is way worse than the flu, because here's the thing. Here's how a virus replicates in your body, okay? It usually targets a specific kind of cell, and it enters that cell and it uses that cell to reproduce, and it creates a bunch of copies of itself until the cell gets so full of virus babies that it pops and like explodes. And then virus babies get exploded and expelled all over the place, and then they infect your cells. And the thing is that flu, being a respiratory virus, means that it primarily does that in your lungs. But COVID does that in all of your cells, especially the cardiovascular ones, apparently. So, like, pretty much, I was reading something that it was a very strong claim, and it was basically saying all cases of long COVID that we've done this testing for micro blood clotting for, like every case that someone says, I have long COVID, and then we've proceeded to do this test, they find microclots in people's blood. So it kind of seems like long COVID symptoms could be primarily caused by these microclots or by whatever thing is making the microclotting happen. And we're going to start seeing some interesting, like, we're going to see it bear out when you give those people medicine for the blood clots to see if their symptoms get better. But it seems like, yeah, it's one of the major things. Like, it's, okay, the acute phase of COVID might not kill you. It doesn't a lot of the time. Sometimes people are completely asymptomatic, or they're largely asymptomatic, whatever. But it's the fact that you can spontaneously die of a heart attack or a stroke for at least the first 12 months. You have a pretty elevated risk after a COVID infection, and that risk might stack with reinfections, not to mention resetting the clock on that 12 months. And then also there's the risk of becoming bedridden and being so like sick and fatigued that you can't even pick up your phone to read texts from your friends, which is the case with Cvcks Girl. So yeah, that's why COVID is much worse than the flu. It's also super contagious. Yeah, the risk is about it eating your brain. I think apple vinegar is good for blood clots. I've heard that apple cider vinegar is good for you generally, but I haven't tried it. Unfortunately, the mRNA Pfizer vaccine is as dangerous as COVID itself. It sure isn't. It sure is not. It sure is not. Like, the number of people who've gotten vaccinated, like, it's just objectively true. It's like objectively not true, because the number of people who've been infected with COVID, like, we're starting to see a very clear, like, a certain percentage of those people have longer term complications, and there is no direct correlation between like complications from the vaccine. Like some people have very mild symptoms about the vaccine. If we didn't have COVID taking up the news, it would be seen as a health epidemic and everyone would be talking about how people are dying from ODing. Really? Yeah, no, Pfizer is the best option in my opinion. I am going to get another Pfizer booster soon because it's really highly effective for the first several months. And then it kind of dips off after 6 months. So the spike protein is a serious problem for some people. I have not seen any like cohesive evidence about like compared to the number of people who are fucked up by COVID and the fact that the reinfections thing is going to keep happening forever. And like, that means that this pandemic isn't just going to burn out in the way that they normally do, where like people just kind of get used to being able to be sick with it and it's fine, because every time you get a new infection of COVID, you're more likely to be permanently disabled and unable to get out of bed, not to mention the death thing. So yeah, no, whatever you think is wrong with the vaccine, I promise you that COVID is so much worse than you could ever possibly imagine that it is. Is this like the Charlie Kirk thing? What Charlie Kirk thing? This demon? Do you mean this demon? There were apparently 103,000 deaths from drug overdosing in the last year alone. I really kind of was under the impression that deaths from ODs got way more, like nowadays, I don't think that COVID is being talked about nearly as much as, you know, the opioid epidemic. The opioid epidemic thing is much more, like before COVID, that was a thing that we were really talking about. And now that COVID is waning, quote unquote, it's worse than it ever has been. Yeah. The spike protein argument, is that from Charlie Kirk? I don't know. Hello, Mersh! The COVID vaccines have fewer serious reactions than most meds. Yeah, there's like a chance of there being an allergic reaction, but that's not the same as like raising the chance of you dying of heart disease by like a significant factor. Yeah, agreed. The long-term effects of COVID are way worse than the vaccine. The latest thing I saw from Kirk was that he was like, look at this courageous conservative dad, and posted a video of a guy harassing a Lego store worker for wearing a pride pin. I saw that. They were talking about like oral sex and genitals loudly in a child's section of a store. Like unhinged, crazy shit. I don't even really want to watch the video today. Opioid is part of it, but fentanyl is extremely bad, and there are literally cop union leaders importing it. Yeah, I personally, my personal opinion is that the fentanyl thing is being driven by the cops. Like, if there's like, if it's a your drugs were compromised issue, I definitely think that that's the police. And, yeah, I don't know. I think that it's more likely that I think it's likely that we have a lot more entrapment happening across the country, or that things that legally, technically aren't entrapment are happening all over the country. Oh, interesting. There has been a marked increase of overdose-related deaths since COVID began. Like 2020, that's what year that says. When this big spike happened. I wonder if that's something about, like, COVID changing the way that your body interacts with certain drugs. Look at the, like, why is the difference so much more drastic in men? Like the male rate of overdoses was much higher. I bet it's because COVID affects your liver function. Like I don't personally know a lot of the details about it. Allegedly, COVID is a lot like HIV if you have it for long enough. And like if you've had HIV for a while, it's kind of similar to having repeat COVID infections in terms of like what it does to your body, allegedly. I haven't like read any studies on it, but from what I've seen some people talking about. And yeah, so I just, that rate of increase, I think that there's some evidence that it might damage your liver, like in your ability to process medicine. Suicide in general is going up. I have heard that too. It's also really high in young people. Like, what was it? I was listening to the news today. Ages 12 to 34. The number 2 cause of death is suicide. Something like that. Like, it's really high. This also might be the absolute depression and men not sharing emotions being lonelier. Oh, yeah, so I will say that I don't think that there is a correlation between overdose deaths and suicides for men, because men don't really kill themselves like that. Men, if they were doing it deliberately, men statistically tend to do things that are going to be more immediate and more surefire. Women are more likely to overdose. Sweetie just left. I was ranting about how I feel about overdose deaths not getting as much attention as COVID deaths, and judging from the faces they made, my opinion might be savagely spicy. Oops. I mean, yes, it's a public health issue. It's a non-communicable public health issue. And like, I think that they both deserve attention. I do think that COVID deserves a lot more attention than it is currently getting as well, because of it being a communicable disease that can kill you and destroy your life. I've also heard that people, I've heard that the opioid epidemic might be partially driven by the fact that like, because there's this weird newish policy about not wanting to prescribe opioids to people, they're like weaning people off of meds that have been on them, and it's like medically indicated for them to be on them. And so then those people are seeking alternatives from the black market. And it seems as though, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, drink some lemonade. People end up overdosing because they get street drugs that are not as regulated, obviously, you know? Men might be more likely to take overdoses accidentally. I think that it's more likely to be, I mean, it could be biobehavioral, like it could be both, but I think it's more likely to be something actually physically as opposed to like men just are taking more drugs. I think it's more likely to like COVID and testosterone interact in the liver in a weird way. Right, that's true as well. Violet says it's part of the reason legalizing weed was and is so important. Illegal weed is often laced with heavy stuff to make addicts. Same with a lot of, quote, party drugs being laced with heavy stuff and people lacing alcohol. Overdoses will happen by accident a lot. We've seen a massive increase in inequality, which has made people depressed and anxious. People turn to drugs to self-medicate. Sometimes they OD. Yeah. I mean, like, my dad was diagnosed with fibromyalgia years ago and was on a prescription for morphine. Potentially had other health issues that, you know, it's hard to say. And obviously, like, being on morphine for a long time causes other health issues as well. But they just like weaned him off of it over the period of a year or so, and then now he just doesn't have pain management, and just fucking sucks to be you, no more pain management. Take some Tylenol, enjoy. So you could easily see how someone in that position might be like, well, I do know what it's like to be relieved of this pain, so I'm gonna go find some street drug that's gonna approximate what my morphine was like. And I do think that that is probably why, or part of why there was a big OD problem, is a big OD problem. How much of it is men just self-medicating simple physical pain? A lot of working class men have very physically demanding jobs and little protection for injuries and pain, and lack of access to medical care like physical therapy and surgery. Yeah, I mean, that probably accounts for the okay, look at 2019. Or I guess there's like, that's when the increase sort of starts. But like, if you just look at something like 2018, 2019, the rate of overdoses is double in men. It's like double. And that's fine. That's understandable, because we can come up with reasons that might make sense, you know? But the increase, like, look at how much steeper this increase is for men. This yellow line is male overdose deaths. Excuse me. And this little orange line is the increase in female deaths from overdose. So this makes me think that there is something specific with men, either physiologically or behaviorally. Oh, gosh. My senior at work mentioned to me that depression is potentially more dangerous for men due to the fact that men don't speak how they feel. They just kill themselves if it's too much. Men and women I think they have similar rates of attempts. Yeah, men and women generally have similar, cis men and women generally have similar rates of suicide attempt. It's just that men choose methods that are more immediately effective, whereas women will do things like overdose, you know? Like, men just don't do that typically. They choose different methods overall. I suspect it's something sociological rather than physiological. I lean the other way, but it would be interesting to see the research bear that out. We saw a lot more women than men lose their jobs, so men might have taken on more work to compensate, creating more pain, all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could probably speculate about socioeconomic reasons that, like, a bunch of different factors could go in. COVID is lowering and then drug deaths are still increasing. Makes me think this goes beyond just COVID or increase in homelessness recently. I mean, COVID deaths are lowering, but long COVID, like, there's pain involved sometimes with long COVID. I was watching a thing on Twitter recently, and oh boy, you know what? I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it again. I can try. I'll scroll for a minute. I'll tell you about it while I'm scrolling. I watched a couple of clips from an expose type thing that was being done on the BBC, and it was about long COVID symptoms in teenagers. Children and teenagers in the UK. A lot of them were like, you know, 11 or 12 years old. There was one older teenager. But this is like, it was like an expose with several children who couldn't walk anymore, or like couldn't really walk anymore because of how much pain they have in their legs. Like, specifically pain in their legs is, and like, you know, can't go to school anymore type of thing. I don't know if, oh god, it was a while ago, I guess. We didn't talk about it on stream, so... is that long enough? Yeah, that's long enough ago that I don't think it's on my... I don't think I retweeted it. Trying to see if I can find this thing, because I want you to see it if I'm talking about it. Don't just take my word for it. I don't... Where... Like, why are the clips not on Twitter anymore? Did they pull the clips? "90% of the street fentanyl in Philly is cut with tranquilizine, 20% in NYC. This is a real-life zombie drug." That doesn't sound good. "Narcan will soon be available without prescription at drugstores." That is a good thing. We're glad about that. Source, just trust me, bro. Yeah, just trust me, bro. No, I mean... I guess... No. Oh my god, why? Twitter, why are you so shit lately? Was it maybe just not from the BBC? Okay, BBC segment on long COVID kids. Ooh, okay, so yeah, there's info about Narcan becoming over-the-counter. I think the overdoses are probably not mostly suicide attempts, most likely accidents from self-medicating. Yeah, I agree. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Yes. Self-medication, getting drugs off the street, like not managing it correctly, taking more than you're prescribed. A rise in depression causes rises in drug use and suicidal ideation, but the guy doesn't have to be trying to commit suicide to overdose. Same root cause though. Gotta keep people better material conditions. Yeah. I also think that it's interesting to look at, like, does COVID change the way that your body processes opioids? Because that could be a big fucking part of it. I feel intuitively, and I don't know if this is the case, I feel intuitively like, oh shit, god damn it. The fucking ADHD is so strong today. I did not take Ritalin this morning, and you can tell. It's frustrating. I'm trying to do two things at once is why. Narcan should just be a normal part of first aid kits because of how many things it protects. I agree. I probably should learn how to use Narcan and things. I literally have 2 monitors so that I can stream while I farm mounts in WoW. I have 2 monitors and I literally need a third. This is the place that I'm at in my streaming career. Probably not going to be able to get any fucking computer updates for a while on account of owing a lot of money in taxes. Feel free to donate if you want to help me pay for the more than $1,000 that I'm gonna owe in taxes this year. For my work PC, I have 3 monitors. Yes. I fall asleep without the ADD meds. It's not quite that bad for me. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, okay, so what I was gonna say is, I don't know if this is actually true, medically speaking, but it wouldn't surprise me if men overall have more liver disease than women. I'm kind of curious about that while I'm thinking about it. Do men have more liver disease than women? I think I'm correct. I think my theory is correct. Because, okay, I don't know why you just switched to light mode for some fucking reason, you psychopath, but according to the CDC, men are more likely to die from chronic liver disease and cirrhosis than women are. So I think that this increase that we're seeing in COVID deaths, in overdose deaths might be because COVID is damaging your liver. And that means that you cannot process the medicine in the same way anymore. I think that that's probably what it is. Like, I strongly think that this is directly related to the damage that COVID does to your body. Testosterone is a poison. I don't know if it's because, I don't know why it is. I don't know what the reasoning is. Men are men are twofold more likely to die from chronic liver disease and cirrhosis. That is the fact. I don't know what the reasons are, but the fact is that men have more liver disease. The answer to that question is another question of, do men drink more alcohol than women? Yeah, that is, that's a lot of lifestyle things probably. I don't think that that's purely because of the testosterone. I would not say that I would say that that's a complex socio-biological explanation. But objectively, men do have liver disease more than women. So, I think that liver dysfunction is going to be one of the things that we see out of COVID. Estrogen actually reduces alcohol tolerance, not testosterone. Interesting. Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, excuse me. Alcoholism and non-alcoholic fatty liver might have been made worse during COVID. For sure. I could see that being the case. Anyway, those are just some interesting COVID facts. Estrogen dominant people get osteoporosis earlier on. It's because your body stops producing so much estrogen when you get older, and unless you are put on hormone replacement therapy, then your bones will get weaker. It's just like being on puberty blockers for too long can do that to you. People who are intersex, who have their gonads removed for no fucking reason, often have they have bone problems. Yummy, yummy. Lemonade. Okay. Well, we've been here for about an hour, and we have talked about a little bit of some serious stuff. I love when I say, I want to grill. I just want to hang out. It's fucking... I'm talking about COVID. But, yeah, we'll probably be talking about COVID for the rest of our lives, so fucking buckle up. But yes, I realize that it's frustrating that I tied this back into COVID when you were specifically saying that the deaths from ODs are rising, but they're not being talked about. I'm just saying that I think that that the issues are not unrelated, and that this is also something that's been ongoing. The opioid deaths, or sorry, not just opioids, but overdose deaths, drug-involved overdose deaths have been on the rise. And to a certain extent, this could make sense as the population goes up, but I don't think that, this part might be somewhat on trend with population, but starting, in 2015, especially 2014, 2015, this increase was manufactured. This increase was manufactured just as much as the increase in childbirth-related deaths was a manufactured increase in the UK when they decided that natural births were just inherently the preferable option. So they would put off cesarean long enough that the mother and baby would die. Anyway. If I remember correctly, opioids kill by depressing the nervous system to the point your body stops doing basic functions. Does COVID affect the nervous system? Yeah, so, okay. What I was trying to find before with this BBC thing was that these kids have just random pain in their legs. It seems like if you have random pain in a part of your body and you don't have any clear signs, that something is wrong, that's probably like nerve pain. I mean, children, it's hard to identify what kind of pain you're feeling if you don't know. But like I am really annoyed at like why this is not super easy to find. Anyway, what have you been doing lately? 97,000 alcohol-related deaths is also a horrifying number, by the way, and that's a drug that's totally legal. There are so many drugs like weed that are way less dangerous than alcohol in excess. I'm really, like, I'm bothered by the fact that I can't find this article that I was reading. I guess it might be in my history. I would have to fucking go through my history to find it. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. I guess I'm not gonna be able to find it. It's pretty frustrating. It's not... I didn't, like, save it because it wasn't something I was gonna talk about on stream. But it's like, did they pull this article and, like, pull all the tweets with the videos down? Because there were videos. Anyway. The big boss is making most people come into the office for a picture next week. If they won't let me wear a mask, I'm not gonna be happy. Why would they not let you wear a mask? That's so frustrating. What's up, Darkly Yours? Welcome in. Opiate ODs cause respiratory depression. Yeah, so it could just be like a lung damage by microclots post-COVID plus respiratory depression. Yeah, could be some other physical mechanism besides the liver. I've been trying to get better at my NSFW posting. IDK, how to market myself better. I don't know how you would market NSFW stuff. For me, if I wanted to swing into doing porn, it would be very easy because I have an existing audience of people who want to see me do naked stuff. But I don't want to do that. So every time I ask for advice on being an NSFW content creator, I get some generic stuff like, oh, well, it's not all fun, it's work. And I'm like, I know, now tell me what work to do. That's frustrating. Margaret, so glad you asked this question. 2 months after the second COVID jab, I had COVID for the first time. And then 2 months after that, I had COVID again. So I don't know if the jab was protecting me or actually messed with my immune system. So when you get a vaccine, basically your immune system has certain... It kind of like reacts to familiar things. So if you got sick with a cold when you were younger, when you get a cold now, your body's like, oh, I know what that is. And you, if it's the same type of cold, then maybe you won't get as sick the next time you get it, right? A vaccine, it's kind of like if your immune system was a bouncer, like a bouncer in a club, and you went up to him and you said, hey, this guy is a piece of shit and he was grabbing girls' asses here the last time he was here, so I want you to kick him out if he comes in. So getting an immunization doesn't prevent you from coming in contact with the virus. What it does is when the virus comes into your body, your immune system says, oi, 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 I know who you are, and you need to get the fuck out of here. And it attacks it sooner than if it didn't recognize it as a threat. It teaches your body to recognize it as a threat. And then when you get an updated vaccine, it's kind of like saying, hey, this asshole grew out a mustache, but it's the same guy. So make sure that you still kick him out if he comes in again. So getting an immunization is not like a shield against coming in contact with COVID. I would guess that after vaccination, people feel more comfortable doing things without wearing their mask. And so I would actually, it would be interesting for me to see, it would not surprise me if people got sick after vaccination pretty often because of the fact that they don't understand how a vaccine works and they think, oh, I'm safe now. It doesn't, like, I can just get COVID, or like if I am exposed, then I'm fine, I'm safe. But it does not prevent you from catching it. And therefore, all of the risks of long COVID and potentially not being able to get out of bed anymore, all those things still apply to catch. It's like your chance might be less of having a serious infection. That's the point, is that the immunization teaches your body to have a response to hopefully prevent how serious it is. But it does not make it impossible for you to catch the virus. It just kicks your body into gear fast enough to keep it from killing you in the acute phase. I'm trying to make an account to be in site chat, but the mobile version isn't giving me the option. Amalgam, you might as well just hang out in YouTube chat because I know that the mobile website has some issues and we are still working on them. Acute phase. True. After second COVID, I recovered easily, but I developed some neurological issues and the tinnitus from hell. It lasted for 2 to 3 months, but I recovered from that finally. Yeah, every time you catch COVID, you're like stacking on the chance that you're not gonna recover. Like you're increasing the chance that you will permanently never recover from whatever happens to you, you know? I was triple vaxxed and COVID was still as bad as the worst flu I ever had, with much longer lasting effects. I shudder to think what it would have been like completely unvaccinated. Right. Get a new vaccine every 6 months. Every 6 months. I'm due for one soon. I will get one soon. I made my account on desktop, logged in on mobile, and used the website chat on mobile while having the YouTube stream up. Yeah, That's one way to do it. Sometimes when I want to listen to a Vosh live stream, I will play the Vosh live stream on my phone while I'm like doing dishes or something, and then I will also have it playing on my computer with the volume turned down so that I can rush over here and type things. I have no chill. It's been about 6 months since I got COVID. I'm due. I have one event that I go to in June every year, and I have the Renaissance Festival, which happens in the fall. So I basically just get vaccinated in like May in order to be prepared for like my summer party that I go to. And then I get vaccinated again in like August. The worst thing is I have to take public transit, so it's basically not safe to go anywhere. Get N95s. Go to Home Depot and get N95 masks. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be way better. Excuse me. Here in the UK, most people can't get another COVID jab unless they're in a vulnerable category. This is part of why I don't envy you your weird centralized national healthcare system. You know, if I go to a pharmacy and they say, oh, you've already had your bivalent booster, so you don't need another one, I'm just going to go to a different pharmacy and tell them I never got my bivalent booster. I've never gotten COVID despite my parents having gotten it twice, so I'm wondering if I'm just immune/asymptomatic. I mean, I know that you've been on edibles now, but if you have smoked before, I've heard that COVID might have trouble replicating itself in the presence of cannabinoids. So that might be part of it as well, I've heard. Rotsoy, welcome to the website. Ooh, we love having new people on the website chat. Thank you so much, everybody. We love having folks hang out. That was before I started being a regular user. Okay. N95s are quite effective if they fit well. If they didn't work, healthcare workers who are around COVID patients all day for their jobs every day would be constantly sick, and they aren't. The N95s that I got, they're not even for like a smaller face, which I assumed that I would need to get specialized masks because I have a small head. But they fit really well, and they breathe really nicely. They're very comfortable. Had some pretty bad decreased lung capacity after I was sick in February 2020. It did not start getting better until a little less than a year ago, and even then I don't know if I actually recovered or just got stronger and better at compensating. Yeah, that's the tricky thing. That's the tricky thing, is you don't know if you're ever going to be at your normal again, or if you really are there, or if you've just recalibrated to having this situation. I don't want to do a segment on this, but I do think it's really funny. So just for us to shits and giggles, I'm not going to go into my formal, like, we're making a YouTube video mode. Equality Florida issues a travel advisory to avoid any non-essential travel to Florida. Due to the rising anti-LGBTQ plus laws and actions from the governor posing a risk to the health and safety of those visiting. Apparently, Equality Florida issued a travel advisory saying that there are risks posed to the, oh hell, and here's this memorandum. Basically, it's like a huge document saying Equality Florida takes the unprecedented step of issuing a travel advisory to individuals, families, entrepreneurs, and students, warning that Florida may not be a safe place to visit or take up residence. The advisory comes after passage of laws that are hostile to the LGBTQ plus community, restrict access to reproductive health care, repeal gun safety laws, and allow untrained, unpermitted carry, and foment racial prejudice. The governor has also weaponized state agencies to impose sanctions against businesses, large and small, that disagree with his attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So yeah, here, and then like broadly, assaults on medical freedom, assaults on academic freedom, censorship and erasure of the LGBTQ community. Like, it's pretty thorough. And this is a document saying, literally, don't travel there. Literally, don't even go there for a while. Don't even visit. N95/N99s are really worth it. Are N99s better than N95s? I'm prepared to switch to N99s. I recently upgraded to N95s over KN95s. Living in Florida right now is soul crushing. I hope that you're able to move out. Like, I hope that you're able to get out soon, because holy shit. It's crazy out there. This pissed me off today. I tried to get my prep refilled, and the program that gave it to me for free stopped working, and my insurance wouldn't cover it. I called the clinic, and they said that since I have insurance, I no longer qualified, even though it's not covered. What the fuck? Just don't run it through insurance. That's so stupid. Ouch. I had COVID at the beginning of 2020, and it was like a rough flu, but when I caught it last year after some anti-vax family members showed up without warning, it was the worst sickness I've ever had. It was debilitating. Yeah, it's not cute. I have this part of my cheek that I keep biting because of how my teeth are shaped in the back of my mouth. And it hasn't really been a significant problem until this week. And all of a sudden, I'm just like chomping on it while I'm trying to talk. And I don't know what to do. By the way, thanks for mentioning pizza. About to eat that delicious cheesy goodness now. My God, dude. Like, I genuinely, like, I'm just chomping on part of my cheek while I'm trying to talk. You know, it costs like $800 per tooth to get your wisdom teeth removed. And oh yeah, here I saw this website earlier today. This is of no use to me because none of these people are anywhere near where I live. But there's a website called COVID Safe Dentists. They have a list for Canada and for United States if you want to go there. Did the audio lower in quality? I fucking hope not. Hopefully that's just the quality drop of the YouTube side internet. I had to have some of my back molars filed a little while ago because of that. I have impacted wisdom teeth. Like they're growing in a fucked up way. So it's like pinching. And like, cause it's forcing my gums into a weird shape. Any dental schools near you, they are slow as can be, but cheaper than most. Do they do like wisdom teeth removal at dental schools? That doesn't solve this problem. That doesn't solve the COVID problem. That doesn't solve this problem. Apparently, people are filing ADA. People are filing ADA requests with healthcare providers to say, you know, can you please wear masks in the office as a COVID, or sorry, as an ADA compliance, and they're being refused already. So it's clear that there's going to be resistance to considering COVID precautions to be, with regards to ADA and OSHA, actually. Because I really want to see there be some movement from OSHA to say no, like, because COVID is so dangerous and it's such a risk to workers' lives, like, we need to increase HEPA filtering, require masks in certain jobs, like, they do oral surgery with residents. You can see if any will follow protocols, as aerosol risk is higher in dental surgery. Yeah, but also I don't have like $2,000. So I guess I can always fucking do another GoFundMe for it. I guess that's just going to be a thing that I have to do on a regular basis going forward. My wisdom teeth haven't given me any issues so far. +4 whiz. Yeah. They're just in weird, like, one of them is like going forward like this, and the other one is like at an angle, like at a sideways angle almost. It's very strange. So I guess I could look into finding a dental school in order to get my teeth removed, but regardless, it's gonna cost some money. I was supposed to get my wisdom teeth taken out when I was a teenager, but some stupid shenanigans with a previously owed bill happened, and I just couldn't get my teeth removed. So that was great. Could have had this done more than 10 years ago. Wow. It's really frustrating. It's a fucking travesty that dental stuff isn't part of normal health insurance. People are in pain. It's not cosmetic. It's not just that people are in pain. It's also that you, I mean, you literally... Can you think of how much space there is between your jaw and your brain? If you get an infection in your jaw, it doesn't have very far to travel before you have an infection in your brain. I think it cost less than $2,000 when I got my wisdom teeth removed at dental school. Yeah, it's like, if they're impacted, it costs more. So mine are at a weird angle. There's a really well-established link between gum disease and heart disease. America doesn't care to legislate things in a way that reduce heart disease. We have shit in our food that it has a known correlation with heart disease. Like, Ritz crackers are banned in other countries across the world because they used to use, maybe they still do, cottonseed oil, which has a known cardiovascular risk to it. So It's just okay for you to put to put poison in stuff, basically. Like, it's perfectly acceptable in the United States as a matter of policy to poison people to death slowly over the course of 20 years. Basically. Yeah, sounds like freedom oil to me. Getting braces when you're young can prevent you needing to get teeth out or other surgeries later on. I had braces for like almost 3 years when I was younger. And then I had impacted wisdom teeth, which pushed all my teeth out of fucking place. Like, because my wisdom teeth, like, are growing forward. I found out why dentistry and other medical practices are separate. It dates back to the turn of the 20th century when medical schools shunned dentistry. Dentists set up their own school and separated from other medical specialties. This is why insurance and government treat dentistry differently. 19th century thinking. That's pretty impressive. I did not know that. Lots of these products are for sale in Europe, but they have totally different ingredients because the cheaper ingredients used in the US are banned there. That's also true. Yes, that there are literally different versions of the same product in different countries because the United States just has very lax rules on what you're allowed to put in those foods. So, yep. This is what my next couple years is gonna look like. Is like, I'm trying to get my healthcare shit done, and meanwhile, like, I'm gonna take custody of 2 teenagers next year. Like, it's gonna be crazy. UK dentistry. Firstly, NHS dentists don't cover all procedures, and they often do unnecessary extractions as a cheap way to solve a problem. And then private dentists sometimes do unnecessary treatments to charge for more. Right, you know, like the stereotype of British people having bad teeth is because of the fact that y'all, like, don't have NHS coverage for dentistry, largely. Excuse me. Excuse me. Well, hello, Corpse Candy. Loving the look today. Thank you. It's simple. It's clean. But it makes me feel cute. I also feel like orcish or trollish or something with my hair like this. Like when it's freshly shaved like that. There's something nice about it. I could have accessorized more, like wear a necklace or something, but meh. Yeah. There's like 75 people in here. Feel free to hit the like button if you have not already. And let's see. So we were talking about, yeah, there's a Florida travel advisory from Equality Florida. That's a cute thing. That's a fun thing. We talked about that briefly. I don't want to get into details about it. It was originally meant to be covered by the NHS, but we decided we needed to have our own nuclear bomb instead. British teeth tend to be structurally stronger, but cosmetically worse than in the US. I wonder if that's diet related. Could be. So we do have... I'm so frustrated that I couldn't find that. Whatever. Too many cooks. Too many cooks. No. I do have some topics ready today. I have some topics ready. Your style is a little punk rock. It's really... I don't think that punk rock is the goal. I think it's just supposed to be like... I don't know. It's like not... It's not even goth. It's like, this is what xenogender is. This is what xenogender is like. It's androgynous goth style. I destroyed my teeth by drinking coffee with sugar 20 times a day. I was reading recently that apparently sugar can impact your skin, like your wrinkles. That, like, having a bunch of sugar in your diet apparently can make your skin get wrinkly more. And I was like, well, There's just so many reasons to avoid sugar, and that's yet another one. I did debate when stream started whether or not to say you are looking very gender today. That's what I look like. I just look very gender. It's just xenogender. That's what this is. What is up? Did not know the UR system, and Amy isn't really around anymore. Oh, did just get, like, shifted down into the rest of the system, or, like, merged with someone else, or split off somehow? Sorry, I don't know. Those, like, obviously that's a really detailed, kind of intimate question. I just know a lot of systems, so I apologize. Yeah, Luxander, the gender non-conforming... the gender-conforming xenogenderist. Calling me gender-conforming was almost a little bit upsetting, but it's like, yeah, xenogender has just kind of emerged into its own thing. Ugh. The gender files. Spooky music plays. A cybergoth, but without the gas mask. I guess, yeah, the green does kind of introduce a different element. Oh, I see. Okay, so Amy has just dipped back a little bit instead of... I thought that you meant, like, that Amy was gone in the way that sometimes they can just be gone. But no, that's cool. Just switched out. Always good. Where did you get this one? This, I think, is just from Amazon. Like, I think that this is just a mesh shirt from Amazon. And then the green thing is separate. I'm Rev. Rev! Very nice. That's a cool name. Okay. Yeah, okay, so Mersh got me this shirt. Yeah. Absolutely. Darkly Yours says that they also shave their hair on the sides. Do you shave it in the back as well? It's like Velcro right after I cut it. IDKY, but I thought your tattoo was an autism creature through the mesh shirt. An autism creature. No, my tattoo is a skull. Is a skull. With a rose. That's a rose. And then this is also a rose. But it's a tiny rose bud that hasn't started to open yet. And then it says Memento Mori. My rose looks pretty fucking cool. He did a really good job on that. I really hope that the detail... I mean, the detail might bleed out over time. Eventually, so I might eventually get this covered. But for now, it's fucking cute. Yes, hello, Baphomet. My WoW time is about to run out. Those of you who know me and play World of Warcraft, and I am not able to make enough money to buy my time in the game because I picked a server that has a shit population. So, I guess I will accept some, I will accept gold donations in WoW, or otherwise I'm gonna have to pay for my subscription. Boo. You pay for months of time on the game. It's really a very well-orchestrated scam. There we go. But you can earn the time in-game with gold now. It just requires you to have spent time, like, trying to get that done. And I only just this past week was like, oh, you know what? I should maybe try to get enough gold to pay for my time. And then I couldn't. Okay. I don't know how this is going. How is this going? It's going okay. Ooh, okay, no, that's good. Ooh, the messy look. Wow, that's really doing something for me. I'm into it. Okay, anyway. Okay, that's the Missouri thing. I had something else today. Yes! Yes, queen! Okay, so this one is also something that I don't want to put on the channel as a segment, so we're just going to talk about it on stream. The random noises. Yeah, I am having a very big ADHD time today is what's happening. So did you know that back in 2004 to 2006, there were 2 trans women running a legendary underground surgical clinic in a rural tractor barn? Has anyone ever heard of this? Did you know about this? 69 viewers. Nice! So somewhere in the boondocks of America's Pacific Northwest, near the city of Olympia in Washington state, there is a long gravel logging track leading off the main road between a field and a forest. If you follow that track for about a kilometer, you will find a rustic-looking wooden house that has stood there for about a century, with an old tractor barn converted into a small outbuilding. There might be chickens, sheep, and geese honking raucously at your arrival. And if you had entered that tractor barn between 2004 and 2006, you would have found a secret underground transgender surgical clinic run by 2 trans women with an autoclave and a cauterization machine bought on eBay. In an era when trans people were routinely blocked from life-saving healthcare and often discriminated against or abused by medical staff, this clinic aimed to treat its patients with respect and never charged more than $500 for a procedure that usually cost thousands. Despite its clandestine nature, it operated legally. This was legal. Yeah, you really don't see the secret transgender clinics every day. Yeah, this is crazy. It was, according to one of the women behind it, it was even inspected and approved by Washington state health officials. No one was going to take care of us. We had to take care of ourselves, says Eilis Nee Flanagan, a software developer and veteran protest medic who helped set up and run the clinic. Quote, we wanted to make sure that folks would never get a bill in their old name. Simple things like that. They would be able to wake up and be surrounded by trans folks who knew how to take care of them, how to treat them. Never have to worry about getting misgendered. Never have to worry about, oh, what's your real name? Never have to worry about any of that. When I was reading this article earlier, that kind of made me start to cry a little bit. It was like, just like the tender love and care that goes into setting up a whole fucking clinic just for the purpose of like giving people a safe place to wake up from their procedure, you know? Anyway, now 50 years old, Nee Flanagan spoke to The Independent about her role in an almost forgotten moment in LGBTQ history. She says, quote, we can't be sitting here looking for, oh, please give us things. No, we're gonna fucking take them. This is the thing people don't realize about trans folks. If you make it so that I can't get access to the things I need to survive, I'm going to find a way to do it. We are clever people. We will figure out a fucking way to do it. It's like, oh my God. It just makes me so emotional because it really is. We are one of those groups that has this like indomitable sort of spirit. Imagine that, healthcare for the purpose of helping people because you care about people, like, and you care about helping them. Crazy. Oh man. Started in Philadelphia in the early noughties. Nee Flanagan persuaded her friend Willow, who was a doctor, that she could totally perform life-changing surgery on Nee Flanagan in her adopted trans mother's living room. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this right. Nee Flanagan grew up in a working-class Irish-American community in New Jersey. I'm glad that you put the details about her life. And I just really want to hear about the surgery stuff. For trans women, the game plan was to get hormones any way you could, stay on them for a year or so without coming out, burn away your facial hair with electrolysis, then disappear from your old life and go stealth, meaning that no one except other trans people knew that you were trans. You came up through certain ways, Nee Flanagan explains. You came up through the clubs, came up through drag shows, you came up through the support groups. I knew some of these folks. Or you came up through gender clinics. I knew no one from there. That was the rich girl shit. Rich girls got sent to gender clinics. I didn't get into a gender clinic. So basically she's saying, Nee Flanagan says many trans people were forced into the care of, quote, sketchy doctors who often mistreated them. I was calling up a physician that got his license taken away because he was prescribing one too many narcotics. It was online pharmacies because online pharmacies became a thing. Or if you weren't online, that friend of yours who went to Mexico and brought back a suitcase. This is like some baller shit. And it's like a very good time to be thinking and talking about it because of the threats on our healthcare. You know, here we go. All of which helps explain why Nee Flanagan convinced Willow to perform an orchiectomy on her to remove her testicles. In a reclining chair, working from photocopied pages of a medical textbook while her trans mom was sleeping off her night shift upstairs. The procedure almost went smoothly, but the instructions for bandaging afterwards were written for cis men whose genitals function very differently than trans women's after a year or two on hormones. 6 hours later, the bandages fell apart and Nee Flanagan was rushed to a hospital. On her first try, she was thrown out for drug-seeking behavior. Yeah, she says, I needed antibiotics, and she only got treatment days later after nearly dying. This experience evidently did not deter Willow, because afterwards, when both women coincidentally found themselves living in Washington state, she made a proposal to Nee Flanagan, why not start their own orchiectomy clinic? So it's not like they're doing hysterectomies, or anything like that. Like, you can do an orchiectomy. I think you could hypothetically do it under local anesthesia because it's not much more invasive than getting a vasectomy. And I've seen vasectomies done and they don't put you under. They give you local anesthetic and like some anxiety medication like trazodone or something like that. And that's pretty much it. And then they do a surgery on you while you're awake and you're there and you can talk to the doctor while it's happening. So it's not like they're doing top surgery. The procedure is pretty trivial, right? It's a shockingly common thing to DIY, scarily enough. I am not surprised by that. I really am not surprised. Yeah, when I put my mind to something, it's go time. Right. I could not possibly do any of the surgeries that I would want to myself. I guess technically I have done a surgical procedure on my body once. You know those moles that are kind of like skin tags? They're like floppy and they're like loose. It's not quite a mole, like it's different from a mole. I cut one of those off my own body once with no anesthesia or anything. I just like cut it off and it didn't feel great, but now it's gone and it never grew back. Can the devag surgery be DIY? Yeah, sure. Let me just cauterize the inside of my vuhuha. I believe it's called bofectomy. True. I forgot where I found this article originally, but I'm so glad I did. Was this one from you, Icalo? I know I have. There's links over in the in the Discord chat. Links in the Discord chat. Links in the Discord chat. Yeah, that was you. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you for posting this, because this was some... I mean, you know me. I'm very hardcore trans, and I'm in the middle of a very big anarchist arc. So this is right up my alley, Icalo. Thank you so much for posting that link in the Discord chat. That is helping me. I really appreciate you guys help collate the show that way. Obligatory. It's called an orchidectomy because the whole point is that you keep the D. Yeah. Abigail made that joke in 2 different videos. If I may, Luxander, we have a client we will be housing for a few months now, so we want to potentially talk about fundraising whenever we have a chance. Yes. Just let me know what's up. I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, I'll join a group effort to fundraise. I am not necessarily going to be able to dedicate a lot of time on my own stream to fundraising for someone else because I literally, like, need money. I did not make very much money last year, and I owe money on taxes, and I'm realizing, like, uh-oh. You can tie those moles up with the thread at their root, then they dry out and fall off. I tried to do that, and it didn't work, so I just cut it off. It's a good joke. Being queer is my entire personality, and I love it. I want to be an annoying fucking queer. I want people to think I'm an annoying faggot. But if you have a night where you're like, we're gonna do a big fundraiser for this person, that is something I would for sure show up for. Absolutely. Yeah. That's the direct action that we want to be part of, is like actually helping people relocate. Yas, queen. Anyway, so that was just some cool shit that I thought was really super anarchist. It's not a complicated surgery. Mine took like 40 minutes, says a professor at Johns Hopkins University. Whoa, there's some lady writing a book about the history of DIY trans medicine. Yo, hold on. Jules Gill Peterson. I'm gonna write this name down. I swear to God. Jules Gill Peterson. Girl, when your book comes out, I want it. I want a book about the history of DIY trans medicine. Holy shit, dude. It's really slow going doing the research because you find these little pockets. This group of people did it for this short amount of time. It tends to be people with fewer resources who are poor and aren't going to be leaving behind records. But there is this interesting history of trans women figuring out how to do the one surgical procedure that you could reasonably do without going to a surgeon. There are even stories from the 50s of people asking doctors how to do it under the guise of curiosity. Doctors explaining the procedure and then knowingly leaving the room so that they could help themselves to spare medical supplies. What? Might be too spicy, but what do you call MTF bottom surgery? A lop it off of me. I think addictomy works a little bit better, but yeah. Oh, man. DIY trans medicine history seems to involve horses a lot. Trans guys stealing horse steroids and trans women boiling pregnant horse urine. Wow. Yeah, this is fantastic. I love how resilient and just incredible our community is. Like, who else out there? I'm sure that there are other groups, but, like, realistically, who else out there is fucking, like, learning how to perform surgery on themselves and then, like, providing that as a service to other community members? One of my favorites is my coxafloppin for Viagra. Yeah, addictomy is good. People probably already know this, but orchidectomy shares the same root with orchid because a lot of orchids have two distinct tubers which look like balls, or orchies in Greek. Yes, they look like bowls. Bowls! Bowls! DIY... Oh my god. Orchies. DIY orchies. Putting that in my show notes. Putting it in my show notes. What was I talking about earlier? There was something else. I don't remember what it was. It doesn't really matter. I'm not putting it in the segment of the show, so I don't need it in my show notes. Don't need it in my show notes. Bowls. Doesn't the ictomy suffix mean that something is being removed, though? Yeah. But the whole thing, it's not ictomy, it's addictomy. Like, that, yes. So it's technically the wrong thing, but it's like it's just supposed to sound like a surgical procedure, but it's not. I wish we could get the estrogen injection in the UK rather than oral pills. As far as I understand it, and like double check me on this, Spirit, but I don't actually think it's illegal for you to just get injectable estrogen without a prescription over the internet. Please double check me on that before you just do it, but I think that that's the case. Here, if I can't find... Here, let me see if I can get this, what you're asking for, in the YouTube chat there. Here's the map, I think. I don't know. Hold on. Let me... Here. I'm just gonna give you the Twitter link. There you go. If you want the link to the, this is the informed consent map that Aaron in the morning has put it up. Estrogen is not a controlled substance. Yeah, I think that you can just get injectable estrogen online. Of course, it might be more expensive getting it that way, but, you know. I don't know if it's just... I don't think that estrogen is done through injection on the NHS, I think is part of what they're saying, Steph. Yep. Being a transmasculine American is just a hell of a fun fucking thing. Oh gosh, I guess we're getting close to the time where I'm gonna have no choice but to start talking about our main story for tonight, because I'm pissed, y'all. Like, I'm fucking upsetty. I am upsetty. Where is my... Oh, where are my scissors? I need to cut off this hair. I have a split end and I need to cut it off. Okay. Also, I think I need to get some water here in a minute because my lemonade is gone, basically. That'd be nice, but you still have to have blood tests, which they would question if they weren't prescribing the estrogen. Yeah. Be prepared to just have to take all of your medical shit into your own hands. Like, be prepared to have to just find a sliding scale clinic that's willing to do a blood estrogen test. The fact is, injectable estrogen is safer since it doesn't go through the liver. I don't know all the details about that, right? But yeah, I mean, prepare for having to do shit in a way that, like, if you went to a doctor, they would have to question you. Yeah, like... I've heard that estrogen is much more effective injectable-wise, yeah. Rotsway asks, real talk though, I'm an AFAB pangender person and I really want metoidioplasty, but I want to keep my vaginal canal. Is that possible, or do I have to resort to phalloplasty instead? Yeah, you can keep your V-hole if you want to keep it and metoidioplasty. The issue with keeping your V-hole is if you want to be able to stand to pee, which a lot of people can't really stand to pee with metoidioplasty because of the smallness of it. But the rate of complications is very high with urethral lengthening anyway, and it is significantly more with if you don't have vaginectomy and you have urethral lengthening. Like, it's almost impossible for some surgeons to do it and have it succeed, so that would be a potential issue. But otherwise, yeah, you can have that surgical result if you want. I have to drink lemonade in secret. Everyone knows I do urinalysis at work, so if I drink lemonade with anybody, it sets off an embarrassment grenade. You just drink strawberry lemonade, and then they'll ask way fewer questions. Because it'll be like, yeah, you know what it is. You know what it is. I inject my estrogen just to be more hardcore. All oral medicines go through the liver. Subcutaneous injections sit in muscle tissue. Patches and gels are topically absorbed through the skin. There's so many different options. And when I get back... Okay, hold on, wait, we had one... There was one more thing... Oh, yeah. This was just another lel moment that I just want to talk about it but not do an actual segment. And then after I finish talking about this, I'm going to get a drink of water, and we will start talking about Missouri. Because Missouri has fucking really upset me today. I really do wish that tea came in pills. I kept having really intense spikes when I did injections. I switched to gel, which is definitely better, but it gets annoying on days when I wake up late and have to stand in the bathroom for 5 minutes while it dries. Yeah, Steph, what kind of injections did you do? Did you have intramuscular injections or subcutaneous? That's a question that I have. I forget I'm taking combination estrogen and progesterone, but I'm AFAB, birth control rights. Yep. Since estrogen conflicted with another med suggested to my neurologist could fix the energy problem with a little T, another doctor decided I knew more about trans meds. Fair enough. Sub-Q. Oh, interesting. Sub-Q is supposed to be less of a spike, so that's interesting. There's supposed to be an implant pellet. Obviously, that's way expensive and stuff, but kind of similar to how there's the implant for birth control. There's an implant you can get for subcutaneous is basically intramuscular. I mean, no. There is evidence that intramuscular injections have a bigger spike and a more of a drop-off when you get closer to needing your next shot. And with subcutaneous, there is evidence that there is not as much of a spike initially, and that it's more of a consistent slow release over the week or so. But I also know someone who does subcutaneous, and he does it like twice a week, like a smaller amount twice a week, you know? The pellet squicks me the fuck out, but I also feel like I might resort to it right before I get kicked off my mom's insurance, because IDK how difficult it'll be to get my meds otherwise. I would say that you should try to get it for sure. I might actually... That's actually a really good idea. I might have my parents look into seeing what the pellet would cost for my brother. Okay, yeah. We have to talk about Missouri in a minute. I'm really upset. Like, I'm really genuinely very upset, and so that's gonna probably come through in the segment. But before we get to Missouri, North Dakota senators vote to boost their own meal reimbursements after rejecting the free school lunch bill. Like, I don't have much to add aside from, like, these fucking ghouls. These horrendous ghouls. 13 Republican senators voted to increase meal reimbursements for state employees after voting against a bill to expand free school lunches for low-income students. 10 days after narrowly defeating a bill meant to provide free school lunches to low-income K-12 students, the North Dakota Senate approved legislation increasing the amount of money lawmakers and other state employees receive in meal reimbursements. A leading Republican senator says employee meal compensation rates and free school lunch programs aren't related issues, but top Democrats see the chamber's conflicting actions on the two bills as unjustifiable. Yeah, they're literally cartoon villains. It would be comically funny if they weren't evil and, like, weren't real. Yeah, and this is the think of the children party. For sure. I mean, if you think that you have a noticeable spike and dip, you would actually have to have your blood levels tested, you know? Like, you would need to get your levels tested, like, 2 days after, and then, like, right before you're supposed to take your next shot. Like, your subjective experience might be like, it feels more intense initially, but it's interesting to see if that actually correlates with... Tea gel dries faster if your skin is dry. I apply it at night. Oh, that's interesting. I used to do tea gel. It's more expensive, though. I am personally angry about the ND stuff. Oh, about the North Dakota stuff, because this shit hurts hundreds of indigenous children. For sure. Yeah, there's so many indigenous kids in North Dakota. How can you think that these things are unrelated? I mean, they just have to claim... oh, you know, that's not the same. Like, this is totally unrelated. Even though, like, the point is, you want the government to fund your lunch and not school lunch for poor children. Like, of course they're related issues. Guys, if you think you've been radicalized by the content, I'm becoming a completely different person. And I'm like limited in, you know, what's interesting is that like about 6 months ago, I would have been like, oh, you know what? I don't really have much going on, so maybe I could do some civil disobedience. But now I'm like, I have a teenager who is going to rely on me to get them to adulthood. Worth noting as well that T-gel can fuck with blood tests. T-gel can only fuck with blood tests if you apply it on the part of your body that you're getting the injection on. So like, don't put T-gel on the part of your arm that they stick. Otherwise, it's going to be on your skin and it's going to be on the needle and contaminate your sample. Put the T-gel up here where it goes. Up on the shoulder where it goes. I became a totally different person when I watched The Boys. I haven't seen The Boys. I've heard it's really good. I love the absurdity that the guy claimed he had never seen someone who was hungry. Wait, what? Or don't apply T-gel before blood test. Well, you're supposed to take it at the same time every day, so if you apply it in the morning, then you're gonna get a blood test, but just don't be a fucking idiot and like put it on a different part of your body. Like put it up here. And not down here. Just don't put it right here. Just put it up here. Or do it on the other arm that day. I don't know. What a radicalizing show. I just don't need a show to radicalize me. I don't need to be radicalized any further. I'm exposed to the real world and how terrible it is. I already feel very strongly about this. It's like, part of why I don't watch other streamers right now is like, I know how bad things are. I need to figure out what to do, you know? Yeah, no worries, Baphomet. Exactly. Like, take care of yourself if you need to get out of there. Jiminy Christmas. Gels can be applied to the thigh area too. The medicine does not say that it's that you can apply it to the thighs. So like technically if the doctor's giving you instructions, they have to say follow the manufacturer's instructions, but you might be able to have the same efficacy if you put it on your thighs. I don't know. Ugh, my eyeballs. Mine has a diagram that shows it can be applied either on the shoulders or the abdomen. It depends on the gel. Do you have any recs to learn more about anarchism? I don't really, Navigator. Great name, by the way. I just am sort of passively absorbing a lot of... I'm not even doing theory. When I'm interested in anarchism, I'm not, like, reading theory about it. I'm just experiencing the world and going, oh, this system is fucking stupid. And I'm realizing that it's, you know... In order to fix the problems, you can't stop at reform. Like, it doesn't work. Reform doesn't work. You can't reform this. You can't put more money into training the police. You just have to get rid of it. And then so just the natural conclusion of being exposed to the world all the time is that anarchism is the correct thing to do. There's also a warning not to let it get on the genitals, and mine always drips, so I can't really do it on the abdomen. Yeah, I did it on my belly sometimes, but I just feel like it's easier to control what it comes into contact with if it's up on your shoulders. Instead of femboy hooters, call it Five Guys with Thighs. True! Oh man, that's gorgeous. Thought Slime has really good anarchist content, explains things really well. I just really personally don't like Thought Slime, but I'm glad that they're helping other people get to where they need to be on anarchism. Mm-hmm. The thing that gets me is that there are actually people dying from the stuff the right has been doing. So I honestly feel like it's not even radical at this point. We're just oppressed and need to start lighting the mollies. Yeah, I mean, that's it. When you start considering drastic actions like the mollies, that is what makes me feel like I've been radicalized. You know, that I just have to like, the idea that I have to do fucked up shit. Like, yeah, be gay, do crime. Like when the do crime part becomes like a realistic thing, and you're like, maybe I will have to, I don't know, it certainly makes you realize that the thing, like the whole construct of what is illegal or legal is just fundamentally flawed. Be gay or do crime. True. Go to Docord chat. There's so many useful articles. I'm a member of Docord. I'm not really in there very much. Be crime, do gay? I mean, that's already what we are. Be crime. I don't think Docord is totally shut down. I don't think there's new members, but I've been getting, I still get pings sometimes. We are already considered crime. Yeah, that's what I mean. I was like, too real. Too real. Okay, goodness. I'm gonna get some water really quick. And then we'll maybe probably start talking about the Missouri thing, because we've been on for about 2 hours. Yes, queen. Okay, do you want to see my belly? Is it Tummy Tuesday? It's Tummy Thursday. Are you sure? Oh, well, maybe it was really recent. But I was getting pings up until pretty recently. Oh, maybe it is gone. Yeah, I guess it finally nuked it. I have some servers on here that I really need to leave. Anyway, do you want to see Tummy Tuesday? Because I'm wearing a crop top right now. Subscribe to my Safe for Work OnlyFans, or Safe for Work Fansly. It's not OnlyFans. Safe for Work Fansly for tummy belly time. I was distracted by work. What's this about tummy? Well, I need to go get some water. So I was like, it's tummy time. Poke, 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 poke. Tummy, 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 tummy. You see my piercing? It's an octopus. Okay, now I'm back. Show abs. I don't have abs yet. Here's the thing about abs. First of all, it's really hard to have visible abs in general. But also, like, okay, here's the thing. I'm gaining weight right now. Like, I'm trying to put on weight at the moment. So I can't have abs yet. I'm bulking at the moment. And so when I'm finished bulking at the end of May or so, then I'm gonna start a cut. And when I'm doing my cut, I will start to lose weight, lose fat, and then I'll start to get more definition. But for now, I'm bulking. I want to get my belly button and nips pierced. Belly button is a good piercing. I personally do not understand why you would want to get your nips pierced, but good luck and Godspeed. I don't care about visible abs. I just want to not have a gut. I mean, a little bit of softness looks really good on, the softness looks really good on trans girls, but that's just a personal preference for me. Clean bulks would show more definition, I think, since there's not high fatty foods. Fat content in your food doesn't make any difference to how much fat you put on your body. I mean, it's like if you're getting more of your calories from protein, then that's good. But and I'm not doing like a dirty bulk. I'm not like eating a bunch of disgusting shit or whatever, but like yell at me. No, you have to pay me if you want to be yelled at. You know what? I realize that I'm giving away a free kink service here sometimes. Y'all get rowdy in the chat and I yell at you. You're using me for your humiliation fetishes. Ridiculous. Just think, at least you're probably going to stay alive longer. I mean, yeah, hopefully. Thinking about eating better, working out more. Hypothetically, I'm gonna be in a much better place. Physically speaking. Hope so, at least. Captain Cougar is having some issues with a neighbor. My issue is that my gut destroys my silhouette. It doesn't blend in with my hips. It's like I have my hips go out and then my waist goes in and then my belly goes out. Oh, that's interesting. It muffin tops when I'm naked, for fuck's sake. You might want to get more high top pants. Because I know, like, some people have that issue because they wear pants at the same place and it, like, creates, like, so that your belly, like, folds over the top of your jeans, you know? But wearing high top pants can, like, help smooth that out a little bit. Anyway, I'm lucky to be a relatively skinny person by nature, and it's relatively easy for me to put on muscle. Like, I don't really... Oh, wow. Ooh, I haven't tried that today in the fishnets. Okay, I'm starting to see what you guys mean about, like, there's clearly, like, something going on here that... There's something there that wasn't there before. Ugh, you know, we like it. Mommy? Yeah. Yeah. I'm only, like, a little bit more than a month into my bulk right now, so we'll see. 69 viewers, nice. Pff, another gun for the 69 viewers. Do it. Ugh. Anyway. Missouri. We gotta talk about Missouri. Fuck. This sucks. 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 Hit like on the video. Oh my god, Horties. Hit like on the video. So that we can get more people in here, and then I'll talk about fucking Missouri finally. I'm ready to talk about Missouri, but you know, okay, we've hit 100 likes. I'll take it. I appreciate that. 69 viewers, 100 likes. Thank you. Consider giving me a dono. I don't have any donos today. This is my full-time job. I owe money on my taxes last year because being self-employed sucks balls. If you can afford it, please throw me $5. Thank you. All right, let me pull this open. I can't like the video any harder. Do it more. Do it harder. Jesus Christ. See you later, Spirit. Yeah, good night. We've been talking about anti-trans care bans across the country, specifically ones that target children. That's the majority of them. Majority of them are targeting children's ability, teenagers' ability to transition. For children, it's puberty blockers. For teenagers, it's hormones. They can't access those types of care in some of these places where they're making it illegal. In some places, they're adding like grandfather clauses so that if you're already on the care, you can stay on it. But in other places, they're making it to where they're just taking it off completely, or trying to at least. And some places are filibustering. We've talked about those senators in Nebraska who are filibustering right now. That's really wonderful. There are some senators in Missouri who are also filibustering. And I think we may have talked about both of those things, Nebraska and Missouri together, filibustering bills in their states. And the great thing about the Republican Party right now is that they are certainly employing some fascist tactics to take power through other means. So because of the fact that in Missouri, there is a filibuster right now, they've proposed a bill that will make it so that you can't have puberty blockers and all that stuff as a teenager. You're not allowed to have any of that stuff. But that's being filibustered by some legislators who clearly really care about children in their districts and in their state. And so because of the fact that this is being held up in the legislative process, now keep in mind, the way that this is supposed to work is some person runs to represent your district, your county, whatever, and you go and vote and you say, yes, I want Mr. Blue suit to make my vote happen. And like cause I'll get it. Cause Mr. Blue, you know what? He really believes the same things that I believe. And I want him to vote for my place. So let's say, you know, your guy, Mr. Blue, is filibustering, and you're like, yes, that's correct, because I don't want this bill to pass. He is representing my view in the government by using the power that he has in order to prevent this bill from passing. And then the Missouri Attorney General's office, just outside of the legislative process, goes, yeah, no, we're going to issue an emergency rule saying that gender affirming care, like, we're going to require a bunch of stuff to make it like impossible or difficult to get it. You know, here we go. Like, kind of just glancing over it. Individuals of any age experiencing dysphoria or related conditions should be able to, okay, here, this is why gender dysphoria. Oh, wait, hold on. Avery with the $15 dono. Thank you so much. Seriously, I really appreciate it. It's tax time. I'm going to owe money. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The diagnostic thing about gender dysphoria, I'm going to have beef about that for the rest of my life now. Okay, so this says individuals of any age experiencing gender dysphoria or related conditions should be able to and are able to obtain care in Missouri. Often this care takes the form of psychotherapy, also known as talk therapy, rather than any chemical or surgical intervention. So they're promoting conversion therapy over the understood medical care for this, which is hormones and puberty blockers as necessary and surgery as necessary. And they even cite the W path. This is sickening to me. The World Professional Association for Trans Health has previously put, this therapy often involves exploring the many influences on a person's gender identity. The W path has said that they recommend WPATH, which describes itself as an organization committed to advocacy for certain changes in public surgical intervention. Even still, the organization has, quote, highly recommended psychotherapy because psychotherapy can, quote, greatly facilitate the resolution of gender dysphoria. And because through this therapy, many individuals integrate their trans or cross-gender feelings into the gender role they were assigned at birth and do not feel the need to masculinize or feminize their body. So they're kind of like twisting what the WPATH has said in order to fit this thing. In recent years, the use of other forms of interventions, often without any talk therapy at all, has accelerated exponentially. These include life-altering pubertal suppression, cross-sex hormone therapy, and gender transition surgery. Yeah, again, the false claim that many medical organizations have determined that these interventions lack solid evidentiary support. That's just not true. Quoting Sweden, a country where up until 2017, you still needed to be sterilized in order to change your identity documentation, your gender on your identity documentation. Yeah, Sweden is really the company that we're going to go, or sorry, the country that we're going to go to for that company. They're falsely stating again a significant number of children and adolescents who begin gender transition interventions desist in their desire to transition. Not true. Endocrine Society has acknowledged that children experiencing gender dysphoria are more likely to identify with their natal sex if they do not socially transition. I don't think that's true. And even if it is true, that's genocidal. You're saying that if we force them through their regular puberty, then they'll desist. You're saying that you want there to be fewer trans people. You think that being trans and being healthy and being well-adjusted is not a desirable outcome. You would rather force them to stick with their natal sex. It's great. So yeah, this goes on and continues the lies and the stuff that we've already looked into. And what this has come down to is that they want to make sure that for at least the 3 most recent consecutive years, the patient has exhibited a medically documented, long-lasting, persistent, and intense pattern of gender dysphoria. Tell me again how gender dysphoria is a real and necessary part of the process of accessing medical care for trans people. Tell me more. Tell me more about how you think that that's the correct way to do this. Roadsway, thank you for the $5 dono. Donos for the buff bab. Boof! I can't wait until I actually feel like this is doing something, because I still feel kind of silly. Like, I still feel like I'm just kind of being a dork. And like, it's like, yeah, there's a tiny little bit of muscle there, but it's not like I'm impressive. So yes, you know, in a few months we'll see. But thank you for the donos. Really, really appreciate it. I'm getting spicy in here. There we go. It's doing something for the audience. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. Young people who've been denied care should get a joint lawsuit going against the politicians who denied them care. There's no precedent for this, but there is also no precedent for what the GOP is doing on a daily basis either. It's a free-for-all now. Integrity and rule of law is a joke. We'll see. Yeah, conversion therapy is torture. Okay, but what if we call it something else? What if we just call it something else? So they're requiring 3 consecutive years of documented dysphoria, which means 3 years of contact with a doctor and having a doctor confirm that you're allowed to transition. And that applies to adults as well. Like, this is not just about kids. This didn't specify. This is only for kids. This is for everybody. So for everybody, you have a 3-year wait from the time you first speak to a doctor about your gender dysphoria, a de facto 3-year wait before you can start to get the medical treatment. And then additionally, they need to ensure that the patient has received a full psychological or psychiatric assessment consisting of not fewer than 15 separate hourly sessions, at least 10 of which must be with the same therapist, over the course of not fewer than 18 months to explore the developmental influences on the patient's current gender identity and to determine, among other things, whether the person has any mental health comorbidities. So this is also making it to where you have to spend thousands of dollars on therapy, literal thousands of dollars, 15 sessions, an hour long each, with a therapist to confirm that you know your gender. Great. And this little bit about confirming whether the person has any mental health comorbidities. Oh yeah? You know what else? How about this? You need to ensure that any psychiatric symptoms from existing mental health comorbidities of the patient have been treated and resolved. So if you have depression because of your gender dysphoria, if you don't resolve your feelings of depression, like if your doctor could say hypothetically that maybe your feelings of depression are not 100% caused by your dysphoria, you will never get dysphoria related care. You will never get gender identity related care. And here's another thing, fails to ensure that the patient has received a comprehensive screening to determine whether a patient has autism. People are construing that to mean basically that if you have autism, you will not be allowed a gender transition, like affirmation care. I don't know that it's really clear. Maybe like this whole thing is longer and it goes a lot further into it in the other details, but like it seems like, you know, autism is a non-resolvable mental difference and that there is a possibility that you will not be able to transition at all if you are autistic. Oh my God, what the fuck? You have to ensure, with respect to a patient who is a minor, ensuring that the patient has received a comprehensive screening at least annually for social media addiction or compulsion and has not, for at least the 6 months prior to beginning any intervention, suffered from social media addiction or compulsion. Is that even real? Is social media addiction even something that is considered real? Or is this just something, like, psychologically speaking, like even amongst psychiatrists and stuff, I don't know if that's even understood to be a real thing. Social media compulsion? Or is that just something that the Republicans have made up again? The previous DSM required 12 months of therapy. Yeah, and then they got rid of that requirement because it was obviously fucking stupid. That makes no sense considering autistic people are more likely to be gender nonconforming. That's why it makes perfect sense. Because they know that that's going to be most trans people. You do realize that it's like almost all trans people have like depression or anxiety or autism. Like almost every single this is effectively a blanket ban. This is effectively a blanket ban. If you're autistic, if you're gender nonconforming, if you're autistic, if you are mentally ill in any other way, if you have an eating disorder potentially, and plenty of trans people have an eating disorder, and if you have an eating disorder because you don't have any control over what your body looks like, it's not going to resolve. It's not going to resolve because gender affirmation treatment is the treatment for the depression and anxiety associated with like the incongruence that we experience. for anybody who can't afford that much therapy, for anybody who is unstable in their home environment and has to move from place to place and can't keep a consistent relationship with a therapist, those 15 sessions, you have to have at least 10 sessions with one same therapist. Like, there's so many different ways in which this is effectively a blanket ban. They say up top, like, oh, yeah, we just want to affirm individuals of any age experiencing gender dysphoria or related conditions should be able to and are able to obtain care in Missouri. But we, like, who aren't medical professionals in any way, shape, or form, have just determined arbitrarily that this form of care that has been shown to be the most effective form of care for gender dysphoria or gender incongruence or whatever you want to call it, this is the only form of treatment that's effective. Everything else is a form of conversion therapy. And it's maddening. And here's the thing. Here's the reason why this is in particular so upsetting to me, if you didn't know. I have a trans teenager who is my brother, who lives in fucking Missouri. And there is a grandfather clause, a tiny bit, sort of. Let's see. So this rule was filed April 13th and becomes effective April 27th. So there is an exception here for continuing a prescription or provision of a specific intervention that has already begun, so long as the person or health organization promptly seeks to initiate the treatments and assessments called for by these subparagraphs. So, you know, hypothetically, they're going to let him stay on the hormones, but they need to demonstrate that they're trying their best to get this therapy process started. So, like, my parents, who already can't really afford very much in terms of, like, medical care and therapy and shit for their family, you know, like, they're going to potentially, like, they have to at least be shown to be making the effort. So maybe the best thing that can happen is that their doctor, who they're already taking him to, can, like, do a slight bit of bureaucratic gumming up the works and, like, maybe take a long time to send the referral, and maybe send a referral to a doctor that they know has a really long wait list, and, like, just hope to stretch that out long enough that we can continue to get him access to care. So, like, technically he's grandfathered in, but I don't know, like, there is no specific timeline listed here. So long as the person or health organization promptly seeks to initiate the treatments and assessments called for by these subparagraphs. So if he is gonna turn 17 in a couple months. So for a year, we have like a year maybe to just, like, fuck around and see how this is going. Error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Seriously, is there something wrong with my internet? This is infuriating. And it's not like it's much better in Kansas. I intend to have this teenager of mine come live with me sometime next year, probably. And Kansas is also trying to shove through some kind of, they're also attempting to shove through a ban on trans kids having access to care. So this is, like, it affects me in the sense of it's broadly, like, it affects my community, and it sucks and it's stupid, but it also directly affects my family. Yeah, at the end, I think that this is just my internet being stupid. So I might have to call my ISP sometime and be like, hey, I'm paying you for, like, the nicest internet that I can get here, and I'm gonna need my internet to be better than it is now. You know, sometimes when you're in a neighborhood, they promise you a certain amount of bandwidth, but because you're sharing bandwidth, when everybody gets home from work in the evenings, your available amount of internet goes down because infrastructure like internet is not public in the United States, and it should be. Yeah, but aren't you glad that Biden said he has our backs? I'm just so glad. I'm just so glad that he's here to help us. What was that one guy's name again? Mike Moon. Why do my Google searches keep going light mode? That's very frustrating. Yeah, loading. Sorry, y'all. I don't have any control over it. I'm probably gonna be done streaming before too long anyway, so. And then you have guys like this. Hold on. This guy who I think he was one of the sponsors of the bill in Missouri. Like, there's, you know, the bill in Missouri that they were trying to pass before the attorney general just decided to completely screw over the voters by circumventing their will. This guy is one of the supporters of the gender affirming care ban bill for teenagers. So here we go. Hold
Heard
on.
you talk.
Whoa. Athiet, thank you so much for the tier 2 sub. I appreciate you. Hell yeah, enjoy your number and your dicks. Not your number, enjoy your fun color, is what I was trying to say. Enjoy your color and your dicks. The ADD is just, it's like a lightning strike. It's just like a random thing. It happens. Okay, now I need to get the volumes correct. That doesn't need to be there.
About parents' rights to raise their kids how they want. In fact,
so
I just double checked.
All right. Okay, so then this guy, yeah. Let's watch this video.
I've heard you talk about parents' rights to raise their kids how they want. In fact, I just double checked. You voted no on making it illegal for kids to be married to adults at the age of 12 if their parents consented to it. You said actually that should be the law because it's the parents' right and the kids' right to decide what's best for them to be raped by an adult. Okay?
Do you know any kids who have been
With
married
marriage.
at age 12?
That was the law. You voted not to change it.
Do you know any kids who have been married at age 12?
I don't need to.
I do. And guess what? They're still married.
Gentlemen.
That was, okay, so this whole justification, he was like, if you sell a child to an adult man at age 12, they tend to stay married. Wow. What a rock solid defense of your position, you fucking pedophile. Like, what a hell of a defense. When you groom a child into a relationship and sell them to an adult man at age 12, they tend to stay married. Yeah, I bet it has nothing to do with the rest of the cultural fuckery that goes into grooming a child into marriage at age 12 and selling them to an adult. So these are the people who are supporting taking away access to healthcare to my effectively 17-year-old brother. Like, it feels weird to me sometimes to talk about his experience, and I don't talk about it in detail because he is a completely different person than me, and like he deserves to tell his own story if he wants to, but like, I am not able to compartmentalize like the rage and helplessness that is involved with, like, I take a pretty significant role in my siblings' lives. Like, I'm tutoring them in school, and like, I'm gonna have them live with me when they're ready to start college. Like, the relationship that we have is much closer than a lot of people have with their younger siblings, right? And like, I can't express to you, if you are not a person in a parental role, like the lengths that I feel like I would go to destroy these people's lives because they're trying to fuck with my family. Like, you're gonna piss the wrong people off. I have a lot of restraint. I don't want to own guns. I'm really truly not interested in Molotoving anybody. Someone is going to fucking freak out though. Like, you can't put this much pressure on people and steal their rights and like subjugate them and treat them like shit and use us for your fascist takeover before some crazy shit happens. Truly, this is another question. I wonder why this guy knows people who were married as kids. What kind of men are you friends with where you're like, yeah, my wife was 12 when we got married. Pedophilia runs strong with the right wing. Yeah, truly. It's insane. and I can't even be mad about it in terms of like, ooh, the inconsistencies, because the ability to have the power to be hypocritical and inconsistent is the point of fascism. Like the ability to do things opposite to what they say that you should do is part of the point. It has to be a religious thing, right? Like, it sounds like some very Mormon shit. I'm not even sure if it's explicitly Mormon, but I would say that it's probably religiously motivated, or at least it's religiously justified. I think that pedophiles are pedophiles and that they just use Christianity as an excuse. I mean, yeah, truly. That's the question, Harley. If it's okay for a 12-year-old to marry with parental permission, then why is it wrong to give trans kids hormones with parental permission? It's because it's fascism. It's because they want to take away your rights and piss everybody off. Yeah, PSA, again, everyone get your passports. I still haven't gotten mine because I still don't have enough money saved up that I can comfortably get one, and it's going to be a weird year. So yes, I'm gonna have to ramp up the requests for donos this year, and it feels like shit, but like based on how I've been doing the last couple months, like I don't do enough calls to action. I just don't, and I feel bad, and I'm like, my politics make it weird for me to ask. Wait, where's audio playing? Where? Oh no, that's you. Okay, I was like, I don't think that's me. How dare you, gay fish? You threw off my groove. Oh, I was just saying if he knows people married at 12, he would know them through a church. I mean, that's fair enough. Yeah. So, if you enjoy this content, click like, subscribe, and consider dropping me a dono. We all gonna die. We all gonna die. Ooh. It's not weird, it's your job. I know, it feels strange. I don't want to have to, it's like begging almost. Like, remember, tip your waitress. And in this case, your waitress is me. Pedophiles are pedophiles. They'll use anything as an excuse. Remember when they tried to make themselves part of the LGBTQ community? I don't even think that was really pedophiles. I think that was a psyop. Very BuzzFeed. Yeah, I can pull it off. I could pull off a lot of different things if I tried. I kind of feel that since you're the only streamer I've ever subscribed to with my own money, other people would have to feel the same. If we can't help, we will. Yeah, and the channel's growing, everything's going well. It's just that like I'm just like, oh fuck, there's even more pressure on me this year than I thought there was going to be. Like, I used to live with my person, and now I don't, and we may or may not ever live together again. So, I know how you feel about doing weird stuff for money. I sold my used underwear to a follower today. I've thought about that before. I don't think I would do that because I'm not a smutty person. But I've entertained the possibility. Yeah, share the stream. Anything helps. Hitting like, sharing the content, subscribing. Getting access denied error 1020 on your website link. Which link? In the Streamlabs or? I would sell the underwear, but only if they promise never to follow me again. I have some stuff that I want to get rid of garage sale style. Is the only way to do that nowadays to do it over like Facebook Marketplace? I mean, because Craigslist is kind of dead after personals went away. It seems like Facebook Marketplace has more or less subsumed what formerly would have been the Craigslist market. Washington State would be an easier move than another country, by the way. Yeah, my broad idea, Harley, is that I would move to Washington State first. Like, that would be the first move. And then we would be around more queer people. I would be around some of my friends who live there. And then that would allow us to go to Canada more easily. Because I think that coalition building would be important. Facebook Marketplace or eBay, I think. Yeah, I guess eBay. So I have some stuff that I should probably start selling. If you're, like, most places you're a landlord, you got a PayPal. I got a PayPal. There's a link in the description. Since you're on the YouTube chat. Also, the website, my luxander.net/donate link goes through PayPal. But if you want a message to go on stream or not, whatever. Craigslist is mostly scams and bigger business advertising. I really think that Craigslist was mostly still kicking because of personal ads. And then when they removed personal ads in order to avoid getting in trouble under FOSTA SESTA, it's a whole website just kind of like died. Delicious water. Water is good for you, babes. Hail, hydrate. Make sure you're drinking water. Tip your waitress. I missed Titty Tuesday on Craigslist? Oh no. Why do we have Tummy Tuesday instead of Titty Tuesday on Twitter? Come on, trans girls. I guess every day is Titty Tuesday for trans girls. Y'all will take any opportunity to show off your titties. Hey, Princess of Hell, welcome to the website. FOSTA SESTA? Oh, you don't know what FOSTA SESTA is. Oh, okay. Well, let's go into the deep lore. FOSTA SESTA. It was the Stop Enabling Sex Traffickers Act. I don't think I can do the thing where I burp and talk at the same time. It doesn't work. FOSTA SESTA impedes freedom of expression on the internet by allowing state and federal law enforcement the discretion to judge and criminalize sexual speech. So essentially, FOSTA SESTA was a law that passed a few years back, and the point of it was Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act, or the Stop Enabling Sex Traffickers Act. What it does is it penalizes any web hoster who basically is hosting sex workers trying to hook up with their clients. So the websites that sex workers would use to screen their clients and to like share information with other sex workers so that they wouldn't end up servicing someone who has a history of being violent towards sex workers, those resources were taken away. And the ability for you to like vet clients and make appointments online, those were taken away. And the result of this was that do you remember when all of the sexual content got removed from Tumblr a few years ago? It was a big fucking deal and people were really upset about it. And it wasn't just sexual content in general, like it was also a lot of educational content around trans bodies. I knew someone who had a very good Tumblr blog documenting their phalloplasty journey, and they made an exception in the rules on Tumblr saying, oh, if it's for medical surgical documentation purposes, then yes, you're allowed to have nudity. But realistically, they just kept getting flagged and had posts deleted automatically. And so this person who was trying to provide information about genital surgery to trans people ended up having to establish a separate, like they had to download their whole blog and move it elsewhere. But a lot of people just straight up lost their content about transness on Tumblr. And Backpage got closed down. Backpage would work with police to stop human trafficking, so that's fucking rich. And, excuse me. And obviously the Craigslist personal ads. Like, you used to be able to post looking for people to have sex with on Craigslist, but you can't do that anymore. Like, casual, anonymous sex, there's not like that service on Craigslist anymore. And so if you take away from sex workers the ability to vet their clients online, what happened was a bunch of sex workers had to return to working on the street, and they just went missing. Meaning they died, most likely. So yeah, Fosta Sesta, not only did it destroy a lot of valuable community information on websites like Tumblr, but it also resulted in the deaths of women and sex workers in general. That's great. I'm from Missouri, been fighting for a decade. Oh God, that's rough. You know, there is some kind of prejudice in me because I grew up in Kansas City, Kansas, where I kind of don't like people from Missouri on a reflexively, but, we're comrades now, baby. Darlin, don't you go and cut your hair? Do you think it's gonna make him gonna make him change? Oh no. It's called Misery for a reason. I know. Misery. Thy name is Mike Moon. First public trans girl online I saw actually had a video blog like 16 years ago. On Tumblr? Casey Mo and KCK working, Luxander. I just don't like the way that people from Missouri drive their cars. I think that your driving sucks over there for the most part. I mean, Kansas drivers suck in their own way, for sure. You know, I can deal with Kansas drivers better because I am one. Y'all are slow in Kansas City, Missouri. Y'all don't know where the fuck you're going half the time. And, also, whenever I tell people I'm from Kansas City, they go, oh, you're from Missouri? And I'm like, no. From Kansas City. You leave me alone about Missouri. So I just have, like, a stupid prejudice against Missouri. Use your turn signals! Yeah, we're full circle. We're full circle. We're back to where we started. If you or anyone in the community ever need me to help you or others with anything regarding traveling to Vancouver, just hit me up and I'll do all I can. For sure. I'm in this really interesting place with my content creation where, like, there's this sort of parasocial tension. And I don't really want to give you all the impression that we are personal friends because that can be exploited on my end. It's like, oh, wow, if you're really my friend, you'll donate money to me. And there's like this like coercive aspect to it. And I don't want to encourage that kind of one-sided relationship. But at the same time, like, this is like my primary means of building community right now. And I can't decide whether this is like a bad thing or not, basically. Where if I like start talking with chatters more and like doing stuff with you guys outside of stream time and like hanging out, like, does that get weird? I don't know. Yeah, no ethical consumption and all that. It's like I literally don't want to be exploitative is like part of the pressure on me in my capacity of this job. It's quite clear that these people believe in conversion therapy, and I want to say that I would go out of my way to completely ruin these people's lives. Understood, Missy. I think that I think that you would do whatever reasonably. I think that you should do whatever reasonably is within your means, and won't get you arrested. Who are you talking about, Prosy? Who drives like a dog with multiple muscle spasms? I think at that point it starts becoming social instead of parasocial. But I still rely on this for my money. You know what I mean? Like I don't, Lux, it's like with narcissism. If you're worried that you're being exploitative, you probably aren't. Yeah. I mean, that's probably fair. I don't want to just think because I have good intentions that I can't do harm, though, Like, I think that's important to keep in mind. But I hope that demonstrating that I think about these things, makes you realize that I'm an ethical person and incentivizes you to donate. Joking. States that want to bring back conversion camps sure do have a lot of droughts. Would be a shame if one of them just went up in flames during an especially dry summer. It seems like, all these wildfires, all these, my brother is a petrol salesman. We're gonna pull out the arsonist. Where's Philosophy Tube? Where's Abigail? Ring the bell. I really think it would be fun if I had an annoying bell to ring. Like not quite a cowbell, but a big bell like that. That's like, Abigail! I don't know. That just seems like it would be a funny bit. I do think that I should get a print of the genocide 10 steps thing and put it on the wall here. I do think that that's actually the perfect thing to go here. And then I can just constantly be like, don't make me slap the sign, and like slap this wall unnecessarily and piss off all my neighbors. Yeah, I appreciate you, Mersh, for sure. You have your Patreon support and everything is super awesome. Abigail, time for your CBT torture. What is a flexitone? What is that? I don't know what that is. Do it. Something that is interesting is that I've noticed that once one person does a donation, it sometimes encourages like 2 or 3 more people to do it. So I was like, what if I just like clicked the sample donation thing and pretended that it was a real donation? Oh my God. See, I think the mark of being a good person is not that you never have bad things occur to you, but that you have bad things occur to you and you choose not to do them. After your video about Abigail, I binge watched her channel. That's so funny to me. I have like 30,000 subscribers. It's gonna take 2 years, according to Social Blade. It's gonna take 2 years for me to get to 40,000 subscribers. And yet, there are still sometimes people who will find me before they find Abigail or Natalie Wynn, who they have like 1 million subscribers or some shit like that. How's Philosophy Tube doing? How is she doing on subs lately? Has she crossed 1 million yet? Wait, wrong. Yeah, she hit 1.35 million. Yeah. So it's just really funny when someone finds my content first. This is also why I didn't get an autism diagnosis. I know someone would push this crap. Yeah. I'm not interested in getting an autism diagnosis because I think that would result in unnecessary gatekeeping. It might have difficulty, like I might have difficulty getting custody of my siblings. Like that's gonna be rough. Like with the autism diagnosis, it's stupid. Flexitone is a multi-grouped instrument, I think, or maybe just percussion. It's easier to see a video of someone perform than anything else because the sound is fun. I wonder if there's a Rob Scallon video about flexitones. Okay, I see what it is. First time I heard of you was on Natalie's video, and the second time was Essence of Thought shit-talking you. I hope that was a ringing endorsement, having Essence of Thought talk shit about me. I'm not entirely sure where I heard of you. I think YouTube suggested, but I've been down the rabbit hole for 4 years. At the end of the rabbit hole, you find me. It's the dragon. The dragon is in the cave at the end of the tunnel, and it's Stompy, and he goes boof, 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 boof. I had to deal with the lavender scare when I was younger for governmental clearances. I was denied jobs for being gay as a, quote, security risk. Never trusted society after they said that. It was all over. My distrust was well-founded. The GOP and American society have shown their true colors, and they never changed. ACLU should be on this ASAP in Missouri. There is a chance... EOT hating you is usually a good sign. I know, I'm proud of it. God, what a fucking cunt. Anyway, I hope that the ACLU steps in and that the issue in Missouri gets put on hold. The likelihood that it's gonna just happen anyway, though, like, all of this stuff has to go to the Supreme Court, you know? All of this stuff has to reach the Supreme Court. Or, like, it's gonna keep happening. You know, they're going to keep passing these trans care bans, and then judges are going to say, whoa, you can't do that extra legislatively. You can't do that out of the legislative process. You can't just declare that this is child abuse. And then it's going to get appealed and appealed and appealed up until it gets to the Supreme Court. And then, yeah, trans ban is actually accurate, right? And then once it's at the Supreme Court level, they have the votes to be like, yes, we've decided that nationwide trans people no longer have the right to gender affirming care unless they go through like 3 years of dysphoria. I'm going to have some serious problems if any of my trans friends try to argue with me about the dysphoria thing after this. I'm like, no. Dysphoria is the basis by which they are denying us care. They are denying us care specifically by gatekeeping this diagnosis behind all this bullshit. ACLU have invited people to who are affected to contact them. It sounds like they're looking for a plaintiff. I hope that someone steps up and does it. I don't, you know, my teens are going to be out of the state soon enough that I don't think it's going to be an issue, and they're close enough to being adults. Well, yeah, and there's no adult care ban in Kansas, so when they come to live with me, there's not going to be any issues with not having access to care. I found out about Vosh through Lux. Oh gosh, yeah, that happens too. I found you in a Vosh comment section. Did I comment on a Vosh video? I don't do that much anymore. There was a YouTube suggestion. It was your video about explaining what non-binary is from like 3 years ago. Nice. Isn't it just Darvo, though? Which aspect of it? Yes, Princess, I think that there are aspects of this that are for sure Darvo. Absolutely. This fucking sucks. Like, I don't, you know, we spend so much time talking about the political aspect of it, and I don't, you know, I just, like, I want to acknowledge the human aspect of it. Like, this is fucking heartbreaking. Like, this is uncool. You know? Like, it's one thing to think, you know, this is destroying families, and like the esoteric idea that people in Florida are having to leave their state. And it's like, I know that. And it's just, it feels so different when it's hitting, like when it's hitting your family. I even was feeling like, oh, you know, maybe it's not a big deal because I'm an adult and my access to care isn't up for question in the same way. Like, I'm almost 30, so no one is sitting there trying to take away my access to care in Kansas anyway. But then, like, yeah, it's just painful. Like, it's so painful. And the fact that I'm going to have to go tell this teenager who's already stressed out about, like, being behind academically, that I'm going to have to be like, yeah, we're going to start rationing your meds now. Because we're going to have to start rationing the meds now. Just in case, for some reason, if their medical provider decides to stop providing care, which I hope they don't, but like, yeah, we might have to say, yeah, continue filling your prescription the same way that you've been filling it, but we're only going to take like half of it. Like, I don't really relish the idea of crying on stream. I'm not like Markiplier. I'm not like gonna openly bawl on stream, I don't think. But like, it really sucks. Like, I really want to cry over it. I really like the study in October that really shows they're fucking over half the country. Fucking over half the country. Everyone is pissed. It's so unethical. In order to start those 3 years of dysphoria, you'd need a diagnosis, which means you would need to be officially diagnosed with a medical condition that you are then refused care for. No doctor would ever be allowed to do that for any other medical problem. Right, yeah. In what other diagnoses do you get and then you are not allowed to receive care for 3 years. Like, that just doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's so fucking stupid, and it's just so painfully cruel. What's up, Celine? Welcome in. I think you should cry. TBH, you need it. I cry off stream. It's not like I refuse to cry over this. I literally cried earlier today. I had a my dead cat moment, you know? You have those sometimes, and you're like, it's fucking 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's too early for me to be crying. This and abortion, basically. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I understand the decades-long frustration with abortion stuff. You know, Jane Fonda, hold on, where is it? Jane Fonda. Are you gonna, do you have a video? Do you have a video for me? Give me a video. I want to see it. Okay, is my, for some reason, videos don't want to load. Jane Fed posted. Yeah, why, okay, why are you actually not loading? Okay, here we go. Let me get the headphones out.
We have experienced many decades now of having agency over our body, of being able to determine when and how many children to have. We know what that feels like. We know what that's done for our lives. We're not going back. I don't care what the laws are. We're not going back.
I think the women will rise up.
That's the activist.
That's Jane
Speaking, and she probably will get a Nobel Prize.
But it's the truth.
Very soon.
It is the truth. We're not going to do it.
Besides
We're gonna
marching and protesting, what else do you suggest?
Well, it doesn't
a lot of
happen
murder.
overnight. It's not a
She said, well, murder.
miraculous. What did you say?
Murder.
She's kidding. Wait a second. She's just kidding.
Don't say that. That's
you don't know. They'll pick up on that and
Yeah,
just run
that's
with
the
it.
worst.
She's just kidding. It's
Well, let me talk to you about.
The face that she's making. Everybody's like, she's just kidding. She's just kidding. I assure you, she's just kidding. And she's looking around like, y'all think I'm fucking playing around with this? Y'all think I'm making jokes? Y'all think this is not serious? So anyway, Jane Fonda is my Patronus. Oh, God, it sucks. This sucks. Later, Sisukara. My battery's low and it's getting dark. Lux, will it only apply to teens under 18? If your brother is 17 now, it's only 1 year to wait. Here's the problem, Olga, is that this thing in Missouri, I guess maybe you missed our coverage earlier. This thing that we were talking about in Missouri affects everyone. Everyone of every age is going to be disallowed from... Well, not disallowed exactly, but like if you have depression, you have to resolve, quote unquote, your depression symptoms before you can get gender affirming care. They're requiring 18 months of therapy before you're allowed to start. Like, you have to have documented 3 years of gender dysphoria. And so that's true for adults as well. So starting now, like, or starting at the end of the month, really, it's April 27th that this ruling kicks in. Unless it's stayed by a judge, which hopefully it will be. But starting at the end of April, there is a limited amount of time for them to, like, they have to initiate this 3-year-long process so he can stay, or I guess for him it would be 18 months. But, like, so because he's already on the care, they need to initiate the process where he's going to be in therapy for 18 months. And that would be after he's 18. More than a quarter of U.S. adults say they're so stressed they can't function. I am able to function, but only because of some very excellent compartmentalization skills. I am able to function only because your donations allow me to work a job where I can just fucking not do anything for an entire day when my body shuts down and won't let me function. So thank you for that support. What's this? From Athiet. Yeah, I think about this tweet all the time. The queers who were nice, gentle, and patient all got shot or bullied to death, and all that's left are me and the other pissed off cockroach motherfuckers. Do we know that it doesn't reset the clock to 0 with this bill? So, because my brother is already on testosterone, he wouldn't need 3 years of dysphoria documented before he's allowed to start care, because he's already on the care. So what is required now is just that they initiate 15 therapy sessions over the course of 18 months that you have to pay for. It's probably not going to be covered by your insurance. Surprise. And the point of that therapy, the insulting point of that therapy, is to try to determine if there's some like reason. Like, so they're going to say, if you were molested when you were a little kid, they probably won't let you transition. Like, if you were molested as a kid, they're probably just going to say, well, you're only thinking you're trans because of that, so you don't actually need medical care. Yeah. I'm able to function just enough to work a part-time job. Thanks to food stamps, I can survive at least. Yo, food stamps have made a huge difference. I am able to save any amount of money each month because of food stamps. Like, the amount of money that I save each month is not very much more than like the monthly allowance of my food stamps. So yeah. They're going to try to torture you into giving up, I'll bet. They can sure fucking try. I only dig in harder. Like, every single one of these fucked up things that happens, I only get more crazy. Like, so just keep amping it up. Just keep doing it. Like, just keep pushing people's buttons and see what happens. Good fucking luck. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes is about to be like the motto of the trans revolution. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Get fucking wrecked, dude. Try to play this game. The ones of us who have kids, we're gonna have to just leave the country. All of those trannies out there who don't have any kids, like, I hope that you're able to, like, do the things that people who have to care for children can't do, you know? Like, all of the protesting you can do, all of the organizing with guns that you can do. I'm just waiting for the next George Floyd event so I can be in the streets burning shit down. I mean, this is the problem with this is a battle of attrition. Like, fundamentally, at the end of the day, this is a battle of attrition. This is a siege. They want to starve us out. That's what they're trying to do. This is a siege. And they're trying to, like, destroy us through attrition, and that's what makes it harder to rally around, because we probably aren't going to have one singular moment of a very clear violation of human rights ethics where, like, someone gets their neck kneeled on. And, like, I do to an extent think that George Floyd being a man had something to do with the visibility of his case. Like, fucked up shit happens to black women all the time too, but that's like the reason that popularization of the Say Her Name hashtag happened was because of black women not being acknowledged in the discussion about Black Lives Matter. So even George Floyd being a black man is still a type of person that society cares about more than trans people, more than trans women, like more than any of us. I had a psychologist about a year ago who tried to tell me that maybe I think I'm trans because I was traumatized by going through puberty so early. I'm pretty sure I was traumatized by puberty because I'm trans. So that type of person could probably stop someone's care in Missouri, I'm guessing. Yeah, I mean, basically. They're going to make it to where if they discover something weird in your past, they're going to blame that. Like, my mom was abusive to me. My mom was physically abusive. And so they're going to say, oh, well, you were alienated from your femaleness because your mother was abusive. But if you had had a proper female role model, then you wouldn't be trans. So we're just going to decide that you can't access medical care. But I guess we can hope for like one clear moment where there's a big uprising, but I don't know if they're gonna be. And I think that trans people's reaction is going to be portrayed as an overreaction no matter what we do. Pruva, thank you so much with the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. The bigots will inevitably fail, but they sure know how to be jerks in the interim. Hang in there, everybody, and remember the one rule: trans thriving. Yeah, I should ask Mama if we can steal the one rule. I should ask Mama if we can have like a crossover coalition of our chats where the one rule in Demon Mama's chat is don't die. Number 1 rule. Rule number 1, don't die. I think that's a good rule to have. We've almost reached the stream goal for today, which is $69. Nice. Wasn't the recent Washington ban just on assault type guns though? Oh, I have no idea. And my dad was abusive, so now I'm trying to be my own dad. For a while, I was really trying to replace my mom, and then I gave up on doing that. Like, it's an empty thing that I don't need. Like, it's like there is not an empty place in my life where a mom should be, and I don't have one. You know, that empty space is just gradually closed. One trans person does a shooting, and now we need to be disarmed and thrown in camps. And keep in mind also that anything that you can medicalize as a mental illness is also a reason to disarm you. Like when trans people are accused of having like a delusional gender dysphoric diagnosis, and they, you know, oh, well, we should make sure that this mental illness is the reason for all of these gun violence thingies. Oh, maybe we should make sure that those transes aren't getting any guns. They can also do this to women. Oh, you're hysterical. You know, oh, you have a mental illness. You have a lady mental illness. They can just decide to medicalize normal human experiences and tell you that you don't get access anymore. Like, you don't get access to healthcare. You don't have rights. You're not allowed to own a house. Like, you know, it's like a social credit system almost. My mom is a psychiatrist who doesn't really understand trans people. If we lived in Missouri, she would absolutely just, like, not let people transition, which is ridiculous that someone like her would have that power. It's ridiculous that anyone but you has the power to decide what to do with your body. The idea that you have to prove to a cis person that you are sound of mind enough to do a fucking completely reversible thing like starting puberty blockers or trying hormones for a couple months. Like, it's maddening. Yeah, so it's just a bad time, and it's going to continue being a bad time for a while, I think. And escape and other forms of undesirable actions are going to end up being our only remaining options. Oh, shit, my nose. My doctor is non-binary and has been messing with my healthcare. Do you mean non-binary? What do you mean they've been messing with your healthcare? Yeah, the nose crying. This is what happens when I start to cry and then I manage to like not cry. It just comes out of my nose. I'm currently in the closet as a Missourian because I'm afraid of getting beaten up and corrective raped. I think that is a legitimate fear to have. I'm glad that I don't go anywhere. And like I turned on my location tracking on my phone so that my dad will know where I am. Like when I was doing a I was interviewing to try to be an electrician a couple years ago, and I wanted someone to know where I was because I was going out into the country in like weird places that I hadn't been before. And then I never turned that back off. And then I told my partner this week, I was like, by the way, if I do ever go spontaneously missing, not that I'm really doing anything to incur this to happen, but my dad has my location sharing on. And it's like, that's a shitty conversation. Like, we were talking about foraging because my partner was thinking about, it's morel season near our area. I think it's finally starting to get warm enough here. Northeast Kansas, you know, it's a little bit late in the season, but you know, morels, he was thinking about foraging, and I've been thinking about foraging, but I can't go foraging by myself. I don't feel safe going, you know, off the path and just being alone. And like, I would want to have a gun if I was going to go do that. I know a couple places because I've been to a couple places to search for morels, but if they're, you know, there's a risk involved with me being out there alone. And that's what prompted it. I was like, by the way, I'm not going to go foraging for morels by myself because it's not safe for me. And also, if I do happen to go randomly missing, here's how you can find out. Morel mushrooms. It's morel season and they're yummy and I like them. You just like, you very lightly flour them and then fry them in like some shallow oil, and they're very tasty. I had to fight for my needs. They're a non-binary doctor. That's really frustrating. In what way were they gatekeeping you? Like, what are they fucking around? If only we had forageable things in this very city-shaped city. I mean, this is kind of one of the things that I like about Kansas, is that even if you're in a big city, like even if you're in like Wichita, you just have to drive like a little while, and then you're in the country and there's woods. Now, make sure you're on public land and not private land, unless you have permission to be on someone's private land. And there's like less and less public land as it gets sold to more and more people to develop and shit like that. But yeah. It's really nice. Like, you can drive, if you live in a city in Kansas, you can just drive for like an hour and a half to get far enough away from the city that you live in, and like suddenly you're able to see a lot more stars, and that's really nice. Guerrilla gardening. What a great term, guerrilla gardening. Kruva says, I think it's important to balance the realism with the understanding that things will get better, even if they get worse first. It's important to nurture a sense of empowered optimism. Morale matters in a fight. I think that you're wrong about the idea that things will get better. I think that if you look at historically, like, I don't think that things get better in situations like this. You know, we might get to a point where we might come around the opposite end of this after they've outright killed a bunch of us, and maybe the outright killing of us will stop being so intense. But then we're just going to go back to a system where you need to, they're setting the bar so high on the fucked up things that suddenly very restrictive things are going to feel reasonable. Like, oh, of course we would say that an outright ban on gender-affirming care for all adults and teenagers is unreasonable. There's a little thought slime moment for you. Of course that's unreasonable. But making you go to therapy for 18 months and have 3 years worth of a confirmed diagnosis, that's totally reasonable. You know, obviously we would never say that you should completely make gender-affirming care illegal. Obviously that's wrong. But you definitely need thousands of dollars worth of therapy. You know, and it's so funny when they talk about how, oh, you trans people, you poor, silly trans people, you're becoming victims of big pharma. You're going to have to be on drugs for the rest of your life. And like, that was already stupid because wow, my testosterone is $30 a month. Oh my God, so much money is being made off of me on big pharma. But you want to force me to go to therapy for $200+ a session over 18 months. So you want me to pay $3,000 worth of therapy as opposed to just giving me my $20 a month prescription. I repeat my hot take. People need to stop saying the bigots will eventually fail line like it's some truth of the universe. Weimar Germany was one of the most accepting places to be an LGBT person. Progress and equality are not inevitable. We have to create them and protect them. Never again isn't a thing we say that means the Holocaust will never happen again. It's a reminder that we need to keep fighting fascism wherever it is with everything we have. Yeah, I really think that you should stop saying things like, oh, it's going to get better. We need to keep in mind that it's going to get better because it's not just going to get better. You have to make it better. If you don't make it better, it's not going to get better. I usually stream this late. I start stream at 5 and then I usually stream until 8 or 9. And it's only a little bit after 8 right now. You have to actually try. And you have to stop the people who are hurting you. You have to stop the people who are making life worse. Like, you have to actually physically stop these people. Oh, that's an interesting concept, Mersh. Have you ever considered that maybe the GOP politicians who are passing these laws are getting kickbacks from the conversion therapy clinics? I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, maybe, potentially. I don't really think that it's about financial interests for them, though, in this case. I think it's just the fascism. I think it's just the fascism. When I say physically stopped, by the way, I would suggest something like, I don't know, physically creating a human chain in the way of someone entering a state house might be one suggestion I would make. Like, going to a place and demanding that they step down. You like deciding as a community, like, nope, you are not allowed to hurt people anymore. Like, people are dying. You're killing people. We're not allowing it anymore. Yeah, also the conversion therapy industrial complex is probably not particularly large. The GOP politicians are the conversion therapy clinics are both rotten fruit of the same rotten tree. Probably not kickbacks from the conversion therapy clinics. I reckon the clinics and the politicians are both being funded by the extremist Christians, whether the churches or the rich people who are a part of them. I didn't mean to imply that it happens all by itself. I'm not contesting that. I agree. I just think attitude matters, which is all I'm trying to encourage. I don't know. I don't think we disagree. I just think that, like, if you even think for a moment, oh, it's gonna get better, and there isn't, like, a motivated because I'm gonna fucking make it better, that what you're doing is non-performative speech. Like, you need to avoid mindsets that are gonna mollify you and prevent you from taking action. If you think, oh, someone else is gonna take care of this. Oh, if you think, oh, if only someone did something. Non-performative speech. You have to actually do something. Family Research Council hires Republican ex-congressman. Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's a fair point, that there might be some kind of financial interest, that the anti-LGBTQ Family Research Council is hiring ex-congressmen. It could just be that they get legitimacy. Like, they get legitimacy from having a politician working for them. But what is there to do? What do we do? I feel like I've been throwing out lots of ideas in this stream, you know? Like, I've been saying things for a while, like show up at people's houses. There's potential to like, I threw up a couple suggestions a minute ago. Like, I think that physically going and making a stink at the state house and being like, this person is killing people and we will not allow them to represent the people anymore. Like, I mean, what I'm suggesting basically is to, I guess, demand special elections, and demand that gerrymandered districts be fixed. Like, we need to start making demands, and however you think you can best make a demand that the government can't ignore, and that isn't going to get you hurt and isn't going to hurt anyone else. You need to do that thing. I am not the ideas person necessarily. Use anarchist principles to start building mutual aid orgs at the small level. Yeah, I mean, like, build mutual aid amongst your friends. I've seen some people talk about how, like, you know, it's really easy for cis men to get a testosterone prescription if they just tell their doctor that they have a low libido, and, like, if they're not able to build muscle fast enough, and they feel bad about it. Like, you know, as a cis guy, and for cis women, obviously, it's easy to get a hold of estrogen prescription, but you also can get estrogen online pretty easily. What if protesters at the politician's house get arrested for unlawful imprisonment? Still do it. The idea of it is just silly/gallows humor. It's not about unlawful imprisonment. That's not what I meant. I didn't mean, like, making it to where they can't leave their house, potentially, but, like, they can't leave their house without being accosted by you. Yeah, I mean, joining an organization, if there's a John Brown Gun Club near you, if there's a DSA near you, if, like, maybe you might even meet people through the Progressive Victory stuff. If you join Progressive Victory and do campaigns, like help phone bank and stuff for campaigning. True, Blake also points out, I never really join in streams. What is up? Thanks for joining us. Even if it does all work out in the end, quote unquote, in the meantime, that does mean that people are still hurting, and that and in the near future, so harm reduction is a good thing. Yeah, that's the other thing too. I'm gonna make sure to check up on that book later and see if see if I can get that book by Jules Gill Peterson, where she's writing a book about the history of DIY for trans people. Yeah, peaceful protest as a means of networking is very helpful. Like, start networking. I am gonna have to join the goddamn DSA. So I'm gonna take a Stop the Bleed course soon because okay. Take a Stop the Bleed course. They're free. This is the website. I am gonna take a Stop the Bleed course at some point. You start by doing this online stuff. I mean, you can just go to one of the classes anyway, but you can start this thing online, and then if you want, you can just go and do the physical part at the actual location instead of having to attend this whole lecture and stuff. All of the ones in Kansas, or most of the ones in Kansas, are free because they're put on by fire departments a lot of the time. It's not first aid. This is how to stop someone from bleeding out from a gunshot wound. That's what Stop the Bleed courses are. It's how to apply a tourniquet, all that kind of stuff. So, because it's free, that's a first step that I'm going to do. Getting CPR/first aid certified is also useful. That's probably going to cost money, and I would like to do that, but it's going to cost money. And so that might be a good place to learn, or so that might also be a good place to meet someone. Basic medic training, get an AFAC. What is AFAC? Excuse me. Oh my god, I'm so burpy today. Oh my God, seriously, I'm so burpy. CPR/first aid certified is potentially sponsored by the Red Cross. I went for free depending on what programs you might be part of. Okay. Yeah, like CPR first aid might be able to be done by Red Cross. I want to learn how to apply sutures. Like, so those are skills that I want to acquire. I want to acquire skills like CPR and first aid and stop the bleed. And so that's going to be something that gets me involved in the community to an extent. And like, I'm considering joining the Democratic Socialists of America near me and just getting politically involved. And there's also like, there are some queer youth-oriented places that I might go to as well. Like, I have a trans teenager, so I can take him potentially to some places that are for, like, trans youth to have access to resources and things like that. So, and that way I will meet other parents. It's so weird. This is the thing about suddenly having responsibility for 2 teenagers, like, is that I'm a parent now, and I did not have a time to adjust to that. I didn't, like, find out I was pregnant and then spend 9 months getting ready for a baby, or, like, going through the years-long process of adopting someone. I just, in one night, I was like, fuck. Like, I am responsible for 2 human beings now. Great. I got free training for work IRL, and then Demon Mama had some sources on her channel that are also free online. Ooh, okay, that's good. I didn't know that Demon Mama had some resources. I'm a parent now. Yeah, it's true. Oh, that sucks. I'm a little pissed off still because my high school had a first aid/self-defense class that was required in our senior year. And part of the appeal was that you finished the course with a CPR/first aid certification. But since I had to take it virtually because it was the last quarter of my senior year in 2020, I did not officially get the certification. I just have videos of me doing CPR on my pillow. Oh, that's so lame. Oh, IFAC. Individual first aid kit. With an I. Okay, I'm taking notes, y'all. I literally am taking notes. I'm just saying it's weird, Olga. Like, I was just commenting on how strange it is that like, this mental switch has happened, and now I'm just, like, referring to myself as a parent because it's true. Giving birth to teenagers, true. I said, and then they came out fully formed. Like, you don't want to see down there. You don't want to see this. You don't want to see what happened when 2 fully formed teenagers came out of there. You don't want to know. Who's a birthing person now? Do you save your VODs? Yeah, the VODs are unlisted on the channel. I think I'm going to gradually make them public. I think that I should just... probably just going to start gradually making them public, starting from when I first started streaming. I think some of them I need to double check and make sure that I didn't dox myself by having, like, something on one of the tabs, but... 0-month gestational period. Yeah, they just, like, spontaneously evolved, fully formed in my womb, and then I splooged them out. You enjoy the description? You enjoying it? Get splooged, teenagers. Oh no. I feel like I know enough stuff to be able to do first aid for someone in theory, but I don't know if I would be able to cope with feeling breaking someone's ribs or something, or putting on a tourniquet and knowing that it might cause someone to lose a limb because of that. Yeah, I was thinking about the hypothetically learning how to do stitches, and I don't know if I would be able to really handle, like, doing stitches on someone who is actively bleeding. What a place to drop in at. Yeah, welcome in, Robin. Hello. We're still going because I've been ranting so much tonight about so many different things. It's like adoptive parents and animals. They just find a lost baby and are like, what's one more? Yeah, my mother-in-law is like that. She had her kids, and then anytime there was a kid who needed anything, she would be there for you. To a certain extent. She's not a perfect woman. But, I mean, she definitely helped me when I was a teenager. So, can we end on something positive? Yeah, what do we want to end on? And especially not knowing if it'll actually save them for sure. I feel like I would have no problem breaking someone's ribs in order to save their life. I don't know. The tourniquet as well. Oh yeah, I saw this. Okay. This is good. Okay, we will end after this. This is a good thing. Members of the Trinity Moravian Church in North Carolina purchased nearly $3.3 million of local residents' medical debt for just $15,000. Then, they held a debt jubilee ceremony and burned up the debt, canceling it all. They've apparently been doing this for several years. This isn't the first time the members of Trinity Moravian have canceled their neighbors' debts. Last year, the group canceled $1.6 million worth of debt for 1,300 people in Forsyth and Davidson counties. Did John Oliver start this? Like, did John Oliver start this? Because I love this. Like, and he even did it. Didn't he even do it as though it was a church situation? Or maybe that was something else. But they on his show. Yeah, so you can just do that. You can purchase relatively large amounts of debt for relatively little money. And then you can just forgive those debts and burn them in a brazier. Like, just burn them in a brazier. This is the one church that is allowed to exist in my Newtopia. When I established my Newtopia, no, it wasn't connected to the fake church thing he did. Okay, the fake church was a different thing. That was Our Lady of Perpetual Exemption. Okay, my bad. But they did do a big, this is the biggest giveaway possible. This is the biggest giveaway that anyone's ever done. It's even bigger than anything Oprah's ever done. And they pressed the big button and they were like, we've eliminated a huge amount of debt for people. Debt should not be able to be sold. Never mind for pennies on the dollar. It's a complete fucking sham. Yeah, this is what a debt collector is. When you say I'm confused by this, nobody told me you could buy debt. A debt collector has purchased your debt from the hospital or whatever. It's usually like that's hospital a lot of the time is where you get sent to collections. That's like some company has purchased your debt and now they're trying to get you to pay them. Apparently you do need to be a bit careful to avoid tax issues for the people who are getting their debt forgiven. So like this does involve some lawyers rather than just buying it and instantly forgiving. But yeah, apparently it's not super hard. How is that a good deal for the hospital? Here's a secret. All medical care is overinflated. They charge you way more than anything costs because of the middleman of insurance. So they don't actually need all of the money that they're charging you, you know? Debt is deliberately constructed to keep people in bondage. If it can be purchased for this little, I should only have to pay this little to repay it. It's insane. Yeah. Can you buy your own debt then? Yeah, you'd have to look into it. Look into it. Does the tourniquet's risk of limb loss apply if the time of application is written and paramedics are able to act in time? I've been meaning to get more info about the specifics. I will need to take a course myself. Like, the Stop the Bleed thing I'm going to do soon because I know where to find one. That's going to be easy for me to do. So I will be able to let you know. But yeah, that happened is at the end of the Hunger Games, Peeta is almost dying and Katniss has to put a tourniquet on him and he does lose a leg, which means that she applied the tourniquet correctly. That's the thing that's so weird. Like, if you apply a tourniquet correctly, they might lose their leg. If you do CPR correctly, they're probably going to break a rib. The largest spider I've ever seen just crawled out over my blanket, never going in that room again. Just burn the whole house down. Hold on. Oh no, there was a good one and I lost it. It's gone forever. I'm not gonna be able to find the one that I wanted. Yeah, exactly. The missing leg or broken rib is better than being dead. Better than being dead. The one thing I madly respect from the Hunger Games is that they killed a politician at the end. They killed 2 politicians at the end. Yes. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to find the thing that I wanted because instead there are a bunch of stupid memes. I saw a picture of it was like a hotel that was being demolished so that something else could be built there, but the sign was still up. So the sign said, like, there was a spider, it's okay now. And I thought it was really funny. There are a bunch of stupid, shitty versions of that meme. It was much funnier in that version. But I have to just tell you about it. It might be somewhere in my pictures, actually. But I'm not going to search for it right now. Axolotl also very cool. I love water dogs. They're cute. That's hilarious and sounds like my house soon. Pickled eggs. Okay, y'all have officially gone somewhere I cannot go. If y'all are talking about pickled eggs, I can't follow you there. Okay? So if you're enjoying stream, if you have enjoyed stream, I'm about to log off, but if you haven't donated, you can still. I am gonna owe $1,000 in taxes, and yay! You hard boil the eggs and then uncrustable them, and then you put them in the pickling juice. So you like hard boil them, and then you uncrunch them, peel. That's the word, peel. And then you put those in the vinegar and stuff. So I can't follow you. Wherever you're going about pickled eggs, I can't do that. Some things are not meant to be pickled. I don't think pickled eggs are meant to be a thing. They're just not meant to be. Uncrunched. Yeah, I'm so good at fucking English, y'all. Like, I can't even tell you. Okay. All right. You guys are great. I'm sorry for agitating so much tonight, and I'll see you on Sunday unless something crazy happens. All right? Be good. Or at least don't get caught. This is how I'm signing off every stream.